Chapter 800. It wasn't because Yi Qian didn't know her classmates, but because Yang Heng subconsciously felt that girls like Yi Qian valued personal privacy. Like himself, he lived in the same dormitory. Even though they were all boys in the same class, he rejected asking about their privacy. Although Yi Qian was one class lower than them, in the eyes of the boys and girls, she was a mysterious, shining light. They couldn't help but be curious and want to know more about her. If they were to share a room because of their curiosity, Yi Qian wouldn't be able to sleep tonight. It was a very careful arrangement. Although Yang Heng was a boy, he was also a very careful and thoughtful boy. The bus arranged by Yang Heng's aunt's hotel could seat 56 people. Including Yi Qian, there were 55 people. There was only one empty seat. The bus was right in front of them. They could see it within 10 meters of the school gate. Yao Jing, who chased after them, didn't see Yang Heng but saw the bus. The name of the hotel sprayed on the bus made her smile. The 18th birthday party was indeed lively. Even Auntie Song's hotel bus was here to pick up her classmate. Auntie Song was Yang Heng's aunt. Yao Jing was familiar with the Yang family and Yang Heng's maternal relatives. When the seniors in the bus saw Yi Qian coming up with Yang Heng, the boys clamped their lower lips with their fingers and whistled sharply. The girls, on the other hand, laughed. Their laughter was somewhat ambiguous. Yang Heng was a popular figure in the school. He was also the Prince Charming in the hearts of the girls. Prince Charming was handsome, good at basketball, and was not a playboy. There had never been any rumors of him being particularly close to any girl in the school. Oh, except for a junior named Yao Jing from grade 12 class 6. However, he had never brought anyone to his class to play. This time, not only did he invite Yi Qian, but he also personally picked her up. TSK, TSK, TSK. No matter how one looked at it, it felt like Sima Zhao's intentions were obvious. All of you, retract your gazes, retract them. Don't scare junior sister Yi Jian. You guys wanted to play darts, but I had to shamelessly invite her over and scare her away. You guys are responsible for coaxing her back. In the class, Yang Heng had a good relationship with his classmates. One sentence from him was enough to make them laugh. Facing his senior brothers and sisters, Yi Qian laughed and said gracefully, "Greetings, senior brothers and sisters. I'm Yi Qian." It was very generous and wouldn't steal the limelight. It could be accepted by people who didn't like hot-tempered people, and it could also be accepted by people who liked straightforward people. It was polite and not invasive, and it was easier to get a good impression of people who weren't familiar with them. Junior sister Yi Qian, I heard that you're very good at shooting. Later on, we won't have any target practice, so we'll only be playing darts. Do you want to have a competition? The ones who shouted the loudest were the few boys who wanted to compete with Yi Qian in darts. They really just wanted to compete and didn't have any other intentions. Yang Heng put Yi Qian's bag on the luggage rack in the car. He said to Yi Qian, who was still gracious in front of her classmates, "They're the ones who are making the most noise. You'll have to teach them a lesson tonight. You haven't played darts before. You need to learn first." Yi Qian replied with a smile. Her beautiful eyes were calm. When she smiled, the girls closest to her couldn't help but look over. Chapter 801. The legendary genius shouldn't be difficult to get along with. Not only was she beautiful when she smiled, but she also made people feel comfortable. The boy laughed. It's fine. It's all the same. As long as you're accurate, there won't be a problem. Then I'll need senior to teach me first. I've never played before. Under Yang Heng's guidance, Yi Qian sat in the first row on the left by the window. She softly thanked him before sitting down. The boy behind her could only see the top of her head, but he still said excitedly, "No problem. I guarantee you'll be able to learn in one go." A girl sitting in the row behind the two of them stood up and snorted at the boys who were yelling, "You guys bully us girls with paper bombs every day in class. Tonight, we'll let our junior sister kill all of you." Then she said to Yi Qian in a friendly manner, "Junior Yi Qian, Don't be afraid of them. We'll support you. The girl was a member of the publicity committee of grade 12. She had an apple-shaped face and a pair of dimples when she smiled, adding to her friendliness. With the support of my seniors, even if I lose, I'll have to lose beautifully. Yi Qian's bright eyes softened as she looked at her senior. She pursed her lips and smiled. Even if we lose beautifully, we'll still win. Yes, yes, yes. We'll win decisively and lose beautifully. The car became lively. The driver was about to close the door when a petite figure rushed out from the side and slammed her hands on the slowly closing door. There's still someone who hasn't gotten in yet. Why are you driving? Fearing that the driver would open the door in fright, he held back his anger and said stiffly, "Fellow student, if something happens to you, how can we, the drivers, bear the responsibility?" The girl jumped into the car briskly and sat beside the driver. The students in the front seat recognized the girl, and their eyes fell on Yang Heng, who was sitting on the right side of the car. It was Yao Jing from grade 12 class 6. Everyone in their class knew this junior sister of theirs. Yang Heng stood up and frowned. "Why aren't you home yet? Auntie Song, the car from the hotel is already here. Why would I go home?" Yao Jing climbed up the car ladder with her head raised. She smiled at Yang Heng, who was leaning out to look at her. "I'll follow you." When she stood up and saw who was sitting next to Yang Heng, Yao Jing's gaze, which was originally smiling, suddenly became extremely sharp. It was more like the thorns on a cactus, shooting densely at Yi Jian. Her smile froze on her face. For a moment, Yao Jing couldn't maintain her composure, revealing a gloomy expression. Yi Qian. Yi Qian was also in the car. Are you kidding me? What was she doing here, sitting with Yang Heng? Didn't Luo Ran say that he was going to duel her today? Then why was she still in the car? Also, when did she get so close to Yang Heng? He even invited her to his birthday party. On the night of the military training, she saw the two of them taking a walk together. Then she heard Ying say that she saw them, but they didn't interact after returning to school. How did they suddenly become so close? Countless whys made Yao Jing's expression turn worse and worse. Her glare at Yi Qian became sharper. It was hard to ignore her gaze. Yi Qian looked up and glanced at her coldly. A faint smile appeared on his lips as he looked away. Chapter 802. Unlike Ying, Yao Jing was more tolerant, so she didn't have to worry about quarreling with him in the car. With Yang Heng by her side, Yao Jing, who also liked to maintain her cheerful and optimistic image, wouldn't mess around. "There's no seat in the car. You can go back first and come back with Uncle and Auntie later." Yang Heng didn't notice Yao Jing's strange behavior. He walked out of the car and was about to pull Yao Jing out. "This is the car for my classmate. You can come back later." Yao Jing gently but firmly shook off Yang Heng's hand. She looked at him with a half-smile and said, "What's wrong? Is it not convenient for me to get in the car? Dandan and Lemay have gone back. I don't want to go back alone. You can sit in the lower seat. I'll sit with Yi Qian." She didn't give Yang Heng a chance to speak. She pulled his arm intimately and pulled him to the seat near the car door. "You sit here and I sit above. The seats are just right, aren't they?" Yao Jing. Yang Heng didn't like her behavior. It seemed easy to negotiate, but in fact, she was arbitrary. His clean and handsome face darkened. "Today is my birthday. I don't want to quarrel with you." He didn't invite Yao Jing, but his parents invited Uncle Yao. Naturally, Yao Jing was also invited. "I don't want to quarrel with you." Okay. You always like to be difficult with me." Yao Jing stuck out her tongue playfully. She stuck out her tongue at the two girls in front of her and said helplessly, "Seniors, is Yang Heng always so difficult in front of you?" The two seniors laughed. "Ha ha ha ha. It's okay. It's okay." Junior sister Yao Jing was indeed naughty and irresistible. "It's okay. Why do I feel that it's not okay at all?" Yao Jing curled her lips and put on a beautiful smile. She stood in the middle of the road and said in a crisp voice, Greetings, senior brothers and sisters. I am Yao Jing. I grew up following Yang Heng. Tonight is Yang Heng's 18th birthday party. I'll hang out with seniors tonight. We must play until dawn and have a good night. That's what I call having fun. Her voice was clear and sweet, and the space between her brows was also natural and unrestrained. However, for some reason, the words that came out of her mouth sounded indescribably awkward. As for what exactly was awkward, it was hard to pinpoint. If he really had to say it, it would be like, everyone should listen to me. I'll make the decisions. Girls were usually sensitive. After hearing the voice, she glanced at Yang Heng and saw that his expression was also normal. She probably understood that this was an uninvited guest. Boys, on the other hand, liked to listen to it. Yang Heng didn't say to drive, so the driver waited. Yao Jing, who was talking to the boy, turned her head and said with a smile, "Sir, you drive. Yang Heng, let's go there early so we can treat your classmates to some snacks." Auntie Song, the dessert chefs in the hotel, are all from Harbor City. Their skills are very good. Senior sister and senior brother, you can try it. It's really good. Yi Qian, you haven't eaten it yet, right? You should eat more. It's hard to eat it outside. They chatted and laughed as they sat beside Yi Qian. She introduced enthusiastically, "Auntie Song, the landscapers in the hotel are all from Harbor City. There are 2 swimming pools. One is outdoor and the other is indoor. I'll take you to the swimming pool. What's so fun about following Yang Heng? Follow me. You can play all the games in the hotel." Chapter 803. Yi Jian was not interested in any of Yao Jing's questions. Her sense of superiority was the same in front of other students. Now, she was asking her questions just to make fun of her for not having eaten the desserts in Harbor City and not having stayed in a good hotel. A good hotel? Caesar Hotel was the best hotel in the city. She stayed there for a night and even went for a morning run in the back garden. Speaking of a good hotel, she had to mention the hotel she stayed in when she went abroad with the leaders. The security was good, and the guards were either special forces or bodyguards from Zongnanhai. Yi Qian, who had no intention of competing with Yao Jing, smiled faintly at Yao Jing, who was sitting beside him. He did not take her subtle provocation to heart. The car started, and Yang Heng gave Yi Qian a look, hinting Yi Qian to ignore her. He said to Yao Jing, "I'm afraid your parents are waiting at home. Give them a call when you arrive at the hotel." I know. You're so strict." Yao Jing frowned. She glared at Yang Heng and snorted. "If I don't remember, it's enough for you to remember. Yi Qian, don't you think so?" In fact, there was no need to drag her along. Yi Qian raised his eyebrows and looked at her. He said slowly, "You don't have to ask me. Ask yourself. I'm really not interested in your relationship with Yang Heng. What I'm interested in is defeating the boys who want to challenge me with my senior sisters. As for food and swimming, I'm not interested." The girls on the left nodded in agreement. "We'll cheer for you later. Don't brag all day long about how powerful you are. You're pissing us off. My forehead was hit by Wang Jin's paper bullet today. There was a small red mark. These guys need to be taught a lesson." A few girls walked past Yao Jing and started chatting with Yi Jian. Yi Jian naturally ignored Yao Jing's questions that made her feel superior. She didn't like talking to Yao Jing, but since it was Yang Heng's birthday today, she had to be discreet even if she didn't want to talk to her. Yao Jing thought that Yi Qian would at least answer her. If he did not answer her, she would have a way to let Yang Heng see Yi Qian's unreasonable behavior. But who knew that Yi Qian would not only answer her, but also bring the senior sisters into the conversation. This way, if she opened her mouth to talk about something unrelated, it would give the impression that she was showing off. "Yi Jian, you're really something." She was indeed cunning. No wonder she kicked a smart person like Ying out of school within a month. Yao Jing, who was stuck in the middle of the conversation, tried to interrupt several times, but failed. Seeing this, she did not force herself to participate in their conversation. Instead, she looked at them with a polite smile. Yao Jing was able to keep her composure. Moreover, she had suffered a big setback at the hands of Yi Qian last time. She would not allow herself to fall into the same trap again so easily. How do you usually revise? The girls in the science class are really suffering. I have a headache just looking at some of the questions and I don't know where to start. Boys are really quick-witted. Just a few words of advice and you know how to calculate. For good students, the usual topic was how to study if they did not leave the topic. As for the senior sisters, it was not that they deliberately ignored Yao Jing. It was just that every word she said had a strong sense of self-awareness. It was as if she was implying, "This is what I said. You can't refute me. Listen to me." After a few words, they lost interest. Chapter 804. When talking to Yi Jian, she would politely ask a few questions. Therefore, Yi Jian was interested in continuing the conversation and was willing to talk with her. After all, no one liked it when someone made a decision for them when they didn't even express their opinion. Every time Yi Qian asked her how to study, she felt a little embarrassed because she really didn't know how to study. If it was reading, then forget it. I like to read and memorize formulas. Then I find a similar question and do it again. As long as I can understand it, it's usually not difficult. She gave a normal answer without any sense of superiority. She even felt a little embarrassed, which made the senior who asked her feel embarrassed. Yao Jing sneered inwardly. When no one else spoke to Yi Qian, she laughed softly and said, "They're about to graduate. You don't have to be so nice. It's fine as long as you don't embarrass them. There's no need to be so intimate." Being nice and being polite are two different things. "I'm just trying to be polite," Yi Qian replied calmly. He didn't seem interested in talking to her at all. People who were close to Yi Ying were basically like this. Their auras and magnetic fields did not match. "I didn't expect you to be so polite." "Not bad. Uncle Yang and Auntie Yang like polite girls. I'll introduce them to you." She naturally revealed how close she was to the Yang family. She was also warning Yi Qian to stay away from Yang Heng. Yi Qian glanced at her and smiled. "Okay, we'll talk about it then. I'll definitely introduce them to you. It's rare for Yang Heng to invite his classmates to his house. Aren't you his classmate? Since you've invited him, it can be seen that you have a good relationship in private." There were several meanings in her words. Yi Qian pretended not to understand. Compared to Yi Ying, Yao Jing was much harder to deal with. The hotel wasn't far from the school. It was just opposite the Caesar Hotel. Yi Qian got out of the car and looked at the hotel. Old Madame Yi and her family should have left already. There was still no news about the portrait that Yang Heng had given her uncle. At this moment, she hoped that Sun Yaozu was still in Southern Province. Once they found out, it would be difficult for Sun Yaozu to leave Southern Province. The hotel had already arranged for the staff to arrange the rooms. One by one, they collected their keys and put their school bags back in their rooms. After resting for a while, they went to the hotel to have a buffet and then had some entertainment. "Why don't I have a room? Yang Heng, you are so biased. I don't plan to go home tonight." "No, you have to book a room for me." All the students had a room card except for Yao Jing, who did not have one. She took the registration book from the receptionist. Since she was facing the receptionist, she didn't have to worry about being seen. Her gaze swept down coldly. When she saw Yi Qian's name, a dark haze flashed across her eyes. "Yi Qian has a room to herself. Then there's no need to get a new room. It's pretty good for us two girls to stay together." As long as they could see the name of the person who checked in, Yang Heng would take the registration book away before they could see the room number. Looking at her, Yang Heng said in a cold voice, "If you continue to pester me like this, it will be really ugly. Yao Jing, listen carefully, I will never have anything to do with you. I know what happened in middle school. I just didn't want to say it out of respect for Uncle Yao and Auntie Yao." Yao Jing, you're on your own. Chapter 805. Yao Jing's face turned pale for a moment, and there was even panic in her eyes. He knew that she liked him, and he knew all along that she liked him. He obviously knew, but he pretended not to know. Too much, too much. Yao Jing's fingertips trembled slightly as she raised her head. Her smile was a little forced. Yang Heng, you really don't leave me any face. In any case, I'm still a girl. Even though we've known each other for so many years, you still make me feel awkward. Alright, since you don't like me pestering you, then I'll respect your wishes. However, pestering and liking have to be separate. So easy to talk to all of a sudden? Yang Heng looked at her suspiciously and pursed his lip. Our families have known each other for so long, and both of our parents have been friends for decades. It's best not to embarrass both of our parents. Do you think I don't know what's important? Hugging her bag to her chest, Yao Jing's face flushed red as she glared at him. Okay, I know. You're in your 3rd year of high school, and your studies are more important. You can't fall in love early. I know. That's why I didn't disturb you. I'll call my parents in case they're still waiting for me to come home. The most important thing was to call Luoran. That idiot, he probably didn't even know that Yi Qian was at the hotel. He might even be waiting for her to appear. Idiot, don't you know what you're doing? Luoran really didn't know about this. He was sitting in a bar that hadn't opened yet, and beside him sat several gangsters. One of them was Brother Huang, who often appeared near the school. He was a gangster with a dozen underlings who started to dominate the area around the school. He couldn't even be considered a gangster. Luoran, are you trying to dismiss a beggar with this small amount of money? There are at least a dozen of us here, and you don't even have 100 yuan for each of us? Brother Huang was holding a cigarette in his hand, and at the same time, he was also holding the money. After counting it, he was a little unhappy. You're the son of a big boss, how can you take out such a small amount of money? It wasn't easy for this kid to take out money, so how could he not take it out? He said that he didn't like the money, but he had no intention of letting go of the money in his hand. Luoran replied angrily, forget it if you can't do it. I'll King find someone else. Do we need more than 10 of you to teach a little girl a lesson? Brother Huang, are you King treating me as a money tree? He really did scold her. Even though Brother Huang felt uncomfortable, he had to bear with it. He laughed and said, she's just a little girl. Fine, let's teach her a lesson. Then, we don't need all of us to do it. Luoran, who had been well-behaved for half a month, begged his grandmother to give him 1,500 yuan. Yao Jing reminded him that he didn't need to fight personally. Even if someone fought, it was still a fight and a lesson. Then I'll pay for it. In the end, he would show Yi Qian the consequences of messing with him. Any random person outside would be able to deal with her. The beeping sound of the pager came from Luoran's body. He took it off and looked at the number. Luoran walked to the bar counter and dialed a number. The year 1997 was an era of pagers. Cell phones were considered high-end luxury goods, and it was impressive for a student to have a pager. Yi Qian came to Yang Heng's birthday party. Didn't you know? You've been stood up by her. When the landline phone rang, Yao Jing picked it up and immediately said, we're at the hotel managed by Yang Heng's aunt. When do you plan to come over? Chapter 806. Luoran jumped up. Damn it, how dare you stand me up? Wait for me, I'll bring my men over now. Stupid bitch, how dare you tease me? I'll kill her. Alright, don't try to show off. Come over and check in at the hotel first, then we'll see what happens later. Be smart, don't let anyone see you. When Yao Jing heard that he really didn't know, she got angry. He couldn't do anything and only knew how to show off. Forget it, I don't care anymore. If Luoran really understood what she said, he would let the people in society deal with Yi Qian. She would just stay out of it. Yao Jing didn't expect to face Yi Qian directly. Naturally, she was afraid of the military officer who appeared in front of her the other day. She didn't dare, so she let Luo Ran and the other gangsters deal with Yi Qian. She didn't believe that a few people couldn't deal with Yi Qian. At 6 o'clock in the evening, the sky gradually darkened. The hotel reserved a large banquet hall for Yang Heng to celebrate his birthday. It wasn't extravagant, but it was equivalent to treating his classmates to a buffet in his own restaurant. The moment the 50-plus students entered the banquet hall, they could only smell the fragrance of the food. The male students' gazes immediately landed on the various delicacies placed on the table. There were prawns, fish, crabs, fried, roasted, and steamed. There was nothing missing. It wasn't extravagant, but a birthday party like this still cost a lot. Yao Jing wore a pink strapless princess dress. Her hair was tied up, and she wore a crystal princess crown. She also wore a pair of 5-centimeter white high heels with pink crystals embedded at the tips as she walked in. She instantly became the center of attention among the students in school uniforms. Beautiful. Much prettier than wearing the school uniform. Silly, how can she not be beautiful? One look and you can tell that she's specially dressed up. A pink swan in a group of ugly ducklings. How noble! Looks like Yao Jing's family is not bad. That dress must be expensive. Just looking at it makes me feel that it's expensive. Walking through the aisle of the banquet hall, Yao Jing lifted her chin slightly. She listened to the praises of her seniors, and the corners of her mouth curled into a perfect smile. She walked to the white piano. She sat down and lowered her head slightly. A small lock of black hair that was intentionally curled fell from her ear, making the side of her face even more beautiful. Her slender fingers gently rested on the white piano keys. After a while, beautiful piano music flowed out. It was a song that everyone was familiar with, to Alice. The familiar piano music started Yang Heng's birthday party. Yang Heng's parents also appeared during the piano piece, and Yang Heng, who was standing beside his parents, wore a black suit. The tailoring of the suit accentuated the young man's thin figure, and the clean aura he exuded was overwhelming. The young man was like a piece of jade, attracting the attention of many people. The meal was divided into 2 banquet halls, one for the adults and the other for the students. This was a deliberate arrangement so that the students would not feel restrained. When Father Yang and Mother Yang walked to the main stage, Yao Jing stopped playing and stood beside Director Yang. Yang Heng stood beside Mother Yang. When the students below the stage saw this, they seemed to understand something. Both of them stood beside Yang Heng's parents so naturally. Wasn't this like a future daughter-in-law? No one noticed that Mother Yang frowned slightly when Yao Jing suddenly stood up. However, she quickly concealed it and did not let the group of children see it. Chapter 807. I'm Yang Heng's father. I'm very happy that all of you are here to attend Yang Heng's 18th birthday party. Yang Heng's father was a bureau chief, so he spoke in a dignified manner. He was both a leader and a loving father. During the speech, Yang Heng's mother asked her son softly, "Who is Yi Qian? Point her out to me." "She's at the back. She's a girl who doesn't like to be in the limelight. She's quiet, so I'll introduce her to you later." Yang Heng couldn't help but laugh when he saw that his mother still wanted to meet Yi Qian. "I really don't have anything going on with her. We're just friends who think alike. Don't misunderstand." Yang Heng's mother pursed her lips and smiled. "With Jing around, you won't even have the chance to create a puppy love story." "You're wise." Yang Heng smiled. He knew that Yao Jing had made his mother unhappy, so he coaxed her softly. "Don't be so calculative with her. Just mention it to Uncle Yao later." Yang Heng's mother still had a smile on her face, but her tone was cold. "Your Uncle Yao's family is probably happy to see this. Just now, during the party, he intentionally or unintentionally revealed that you're close with Jing. What's there to be angry about? Boys are said to be romantic, but girls are said to have no self-respect. I'm not close to Yao Jing, but after some time, those who pay attention to our family will be able to tell. Yang Heng's mother came from a scholarly family, so she was a stickler for rules. She wasn't happy with Yao Jing's behavior. In junior high, Yao Jing forced a girl to drop out of school. There were rumors that it was related to Yang Heng, so Yang Heng's mother did a private investigation and found the girl. She confirmed that she was indeed related to Yang Heng. However, because the girl attended a school party with Yang Heng, Yao Jing held a grudge against her. After that, Yang Heng's mother had a knot in her heart. She reminded Yang Heng to keep a distance from Yao Jing. At the same time, she even moved her family away to avoid trouble. The Yang family didn't express their attitude, and the Yao family didn't say anything either. They just got along like this, so they thought that the two families would continue to get along well. The mother and son spoke softly. Chief Yang didn't talk for too long. It was only a matter of 2 minutes before he passed the topic to Mother Yang. Mother Yang's words were gentle and clear. She could be compared to an announcer. She said simply and happily, "It's fine as long as you have fun. You're an adult after 18 years old. As parents, we can't control you like children. Have fun today. If you need anything, you can look for me and the staff at any time." The parents' open-minded attitude made the students who came to the birthday party relax. When Yang Heng spoke, he was even more straightforward. Eat and drink well. Sleep well at night. Also, the brothers in our class who want to play darts with Yi Qian, you guys need to eat more. Only then will you have the strength to play against Yi Qian. The smile on Yao Jing's face deepened. So Yi Qian was invited here to compete with her senior brothers. Yang Heng did not specially invite him. That's more like it. Otherwise, she would have talked to Auntie Song tonight and let her and Yi Qian have to bear the consequences. The buffet was a relaxing meal. As they ate, they watched the programs organized by the third-grade students. Yang Heng's birthday party wasn't a high-class event, but it was exceptionally lively. Chapter 808. Mom, this is Yi Qian. She's famous in our school, a genius. During the meal, Yang Heng brought Mother Yang to Yi Qian's table and introduced her to the girls. She represented our country in the World Mathematical Olympiad in the second year of junior high. She was still in junior high at that time. She was involved in advanced mathematics in university and won an individual gold medal for our country. Hearing this, the smile on Mother Yang's face deepened. This little girl also looked fresh and refreshing. Wearing the school uniform, she exuded a temperament like a winter plum blossom. When she smiled, the corners of her mouth were slightly pursed. Not to mention her grades, just looking at her was pleasing to the eye. Good, good, good. You went abroad to win glory. You're really a good girl and a good student. Your parents must be proud of you. Mother Yang praised her sincerely. She didn't know that the girl's parents were absent. Yang Heng couldn't stop her in time. The girls sitting at the same table looked a little awkward. They all looked at Yi Qian. Without parents, no matter how good the child was, they couldn't see it. Yi Qian knew that Mother Yang didn't mean it. He smiled calmly and naturally. Thank you, Auntie. Yang Heng is the same. He's very good in school and is a role model for us. The girls heaved a sigh of relief. Yang Heng also heaved a sigh of relief. Even if the topic of parents' absence was unintentional, it was still a sad thing. He gently winked at Yi Qian to express his gratitude. He said to Mother Yang, "Mom, now that you've met Yi Qian, can we go to the adults' banquet hall? If I don't go and see Grandpa, Grandma, Grandpa, and Grandma, the 4 elders will say that I'm playful. You're just celebrating your 18th birthday. Why do I feel like you're an adult now? You're starting to think for the elders." Mother Yang teased her son. She looked proud and said to the girls sitting with Yi Qian, "Come and play at Auntie's house when you're free. It's big and quiet. Auntie welcomes all of you." Yao Jing walked over and overheard the conversation. Since Yi Qian was standing beside Mama Yang, she assumed that the conversation was directed at Yi Qian. She clenched her fists and walked over in a ladylike manner. "Auntie, I'll accompany you to the hall next door. I can also help Yang Heng drink a little. I just saw some people from Uncle's unit. They will definitely let Yang Heng drink." As she spoke, she wrinkled her nose and pouted. "Yang Heng's alcohol tolerance is too low. He can't even drink as much as me." Mother Yang wouldn't show anything in front of her son's classmates, but she still had to keep a distance. "You little girl, why are you drinking like an adult? Just have fun here. The boys on the stage are doing a good job. It's really nice to watch." Yi Qian raised his eyebrows slightly. So that's why. No wonder she didn't dare to reveal that she liked Yang Heng. It was because of Mother Yang. The 4 boys on the main stage were performing a street dance. This was a dance that had just spread to the country. Very few people knew how to dance. Now there were 4 boys performing at once, and they danced quite well. Yi Qian watched with great interest. She didn't even notice when Yao Jing had left. When the dance was over, 2 hotel staff carried 3 wooden racks for darts onto the stage. They then placed the 18-inch darts plate on the rack. The audience immediately applauded. "Come, let's invite our junior Yi Qian up." 5 boys gracefully jumped onto the main stage. One of them held a large microphone and loudly invited Yi Qian up. "Students, let's give her a round of applause." Chapter 809. Junior Yi Qian, you can do it. You can do it. Wang Jin, don't be so smug. Junior Yi Qian is very strong. The one holding the microphone was called Wang Jin, a professional darts player. Rumor has it that he's even participated in competitions before. Amidst the applause, Yi Qian calmly walked up the stage with a confident smile. Looking at the red, black, and white-colored darts board, the center point was the smallest circle, then the center point was the smallest circle. Then, the center point would expand to a total of 5 circles, with the numbers 1 to 20 on the edge. Yi Qian looked at the darts board. She's never played before, so she could only guess how the score would be calculated. Darts emerged in England in the 15th century. In the 30s, darts became more and more professional, appearing in professional associations and competitions. The few of us were led by me, and we played together for a few years. Wang Jingxian introduced the origin of darts. It was obvious that he respected this sport very much. The points area, double area, triple area, outer circle center, and inner circle center were all introduced in great detail. Since this was related to the score, it's only natural to go into detail. You're saying that the innermost dot is not the highest score, and the highest score is in the triple zone of the inner iron ball's 20 points? Yi Jian realized that her guess was wrong after listening to Zhang Xian's explanation. Wang Jin nodded with a smile. Those who haven't played darts before all think the center point is the highest score. In fact, the true highest score is in the triple area of the inner circle. The spectating students all let out a long "oh" sound. Not only did Yi Qian not know this, many of the students didn't know either. "It sounds very good. I didn't expect Wang Jin and the others to be so professional." "That's right, I just found out the center point isn't the highest score area." "Ha ha ha, me too, I always thought hitting the center point was awesome." Up on the stage, Wang Jin pointed at the center point. "Today we won't be playing 301 or 501, we'll be competing on who can hit the designated area in one shot. The center point is the highest score, no points, only the number of times." The 301 mentioned by Wang Jin was referring to the type of darts competition. There were 10 rounds in one game. Each player would start with a score of 301, and the score would decrease with each throw. The first player to reduce to 0 wins. 501 was the same as 301. The only difference was that the score was 501. There were more than just these 2 rules in darts. Wang Jin couldn't explain them all, and the students below the stage wouldn't be interested. As for Yi Qian, she felt that it would be better for her to just play and hit the bullseye. She had no idea what 301 and 501 Wang Jin was talking about. Hearing this, he smiled and said, "All right then, we'll only count the number of times and not the points, because if you want to play with the score, I don't understand. But just counting the number of times won't be that interesting. How about we play some more tricks? For example, 2 darts at a time, 3 darts at a time. What do you think?" As a professional darts player, Wang Jin wanted to play a little more for fun. Throwing 2 darts at a time meant throwing 2 darts in one hand and letting the 2 darts hit 1 or 2 darts on the darts board. These were all fun for beginner players and belonged to the game category. The seniors below the stage laughed and scolded Wang Jin for being shameless for bullying Yi Qian, who was playing for the first time. Unexpectedly, Yi Qian thought about it and nodded. "I think this is more challenging. How about this? I'll also add a rule. Whoever loses will have to do 60 sit-ups. How about that? The time limit is 1 minute. Since the other party came up with the rules, then she would come up with the punishment for losing." Chapter 8:10. In the end, when Yi Qian announced the punishment, the confident Wang Jin choked on his saliva. He quickly passed the microphone to another guy. "Bro, let's send a representative. 60 sit-ups. Do it within a minute?" "I can't do it. It'll kill me." "Damn. If you can't do it, do you think I can?" The guy who took the microphone felt like he had received a hot potato. He couldn't hold it steady no matter how hard he tried. He felt extremely guilty. The students in the class couldn't take it anymore, especially the senior sisters. They directly shouted, "Are you kidding me?" When you guys issued the challenge, Yi Qian happily accepted it. Now Yi Qian is just issuing a punishment, and you're all backing down? Are you kidding me? We will protest. Yi Qian didn't know how to play darts, but he happily accepted your challenge. Everyone can do these sit-ups. It's just that there's a time limit. Wang Jin took the microphone back and said sadly, "Beauties, 60 sit-ups in a minute. Yes, we can do it, but the time limit is the main point. The main point isn't that we can't do it, the main point is that there's a time limit." "Oh, so that's how it is. Is it very difficult to do it?" Only then did the senior sisters react and start whispering. So it was because of the time limit that they didn't dare to do it. But if even the boys didn't dare to do it then, could Yi Qian do it? Since Yi Qian dared to say that he could do 60 sit-ups in a minute, of course he could do it. Moreover, he had deliberately set the time limit so that he could intimidate the boys. Psychological tactics were important in a competition. As such, the main control was in Yi Qian's hands. Seeing that everyone was in a difficult position, he said, "Then let's do 50. I can't go any lower. If I lose, I'll do 50 alone. If the seniors lose, all of you will do 50 together. The senior sisters here will be our witnesses." Since he had already said that, how could Wang Jin and the other 4 boys say that it was difficult? Even if it was difficult, they could only brace themselves and accept the punishment. "Junior sister Yi Qian, this move of yours caught us off guard." After Wang Jin turned off the microphone, he chuckled softly and said, 50 sit-ups in a minute. I'm afraid that my back will break after I'm done." They did not expect this quiet girl to be so fierce when she opened her mouth. Yi Qian's eyebrows raised slightly. He smiled faintly and said, "Senior brother, we're all professional darts players. I've never even seen a darts player before. Why do you seem so certain that you will lose? Who will win and who will lose, everything is still unknown." That's right. It was still unknown who would win. How could he be so sure that the boys would lose? Wang Jin chuckled and said, "Even if we win, it won't be honorable. We'll still have to do 50 sit-ups." Yi Jian smiled in surprise. Chapter 8:11. At the beginning of the warm-up, the 5 boys took turns throwing darts on the 3 dart plates. The cheers and applause from the audience came like a tide. Although they didn't understand it very well, it was also very interesting to see their trick. Yi Qian was watching from the side. She was used to watching them play one by one. She could see that Wang Jin and the others were indeed very professional. That kind of professionalism could be seen from their expressions. What are your classmates playing? The applause is so loud and they are all saying good things. The adults in the hall next door heard the applause from outside. Director Yang smiled and asked his son, who was talking to the adults, "Why don't we all go and have a look? We can come back after watching." The two halls were only separated by a wall. In the middle was a door with a folded four-leaf screen. The students were noisy, and their laughter naturally passed through the door to the adults' ears. Yang Hing smiled and said, "There are a few boys in our class who are playing darts. They should be competing with Yi Qian now. You can go and have a look." "Then let's go and have a look." Director Yang stood up and laughed as he told his family and friends what was going on. There were only 3 tables where the adults said that they wanted to go and have a look. A woman in a dark suit who looked very professional said, "It is said that there are a group of people in Hung Hing's class who are good at literature and martial arts. Let's go and have a look and broaden our horizons." "Andy Song, you are making fun of us students. What else can broaden your horizons?" Yao Jing, who had been accompanying the adults, stood up and smiled playfully. "Later on, you will be able to see if you don't feel bored." Yang Heng's mother didn't like to hear this. She said to her sister, "Jing, sometimes your words are quite disappointing. Hung Hing's classmates specially came over to celebrate his birthday. No matter whether it is good or not, it is the children's good intentions." "Sister, how can I be so calculative with a child?" The woman, who was Yang Heng's aunt, was the manager of the hotel. She paid all the expenses for the day, including the meal. Director Yang's family didn't need to pay a cent. When they came over, Wang Jin was holding a dart in both hands. He was between the 2 dart plates. After a few test throws, he raised his arms and threw the dart in both hands at the same time. "Not bad. You can even play a variety of games. This kind of game can not only entertain and relax, but also make people focus." The students in the experimental class play differently. They play things that are beneficial to them. They were all relatives and close friends, so they didn't have to pay much attention to their words. However, only Yang Heng and Yao Jing were in high school. When she heard the words experimental class, Yao Jing's expression changed. She had never been good at studying, and if she really went to the experimental class, she would lose even more face. However, the one who spoke was Mother Yang. Even if she felt uncomfortable in her heart, she couldn't refute her. Instead, he smiled and said, "That's why Yang Heng is so good. He's good at studying and playing basketball." Hung Heng, isn't that girl Yi Qian? She knows how to play too?" Mother Yang didn't seem to hear what Yao Jing said as her attention was focused on the stage. "This little girl isn't proficient in all 18 kinds of martial arts, right? She's good at her studies and knows how to play darts, which is something only boys like." Yang Heng, who was standing in the middle of the old people, replied, "She doesn't play darts. It's the boys in our class who think she is good and want to play with her." With Yao Jing around, Yang Heng didn't want to mention Yi Qian. Even his tone was indifferent. Chapter 8:12. Yi Qian is in the 2nd year of high school's experimental class. "I wanted to introduce her to you." Yao Jing looked at the figure on the stage. Her eyes flashed with coldness. She naturally took over the topic and didn't judge them at all. She said softly to Mother Yang, "Auntie, don't you think it's weird for a girl to play with a boy's game?" Mother Yao heard this and patted her daughter's head. "You think it's weird? You're different? Why are you learning to play basketball? This is a sport for boys. If you learn it, your dad and I will think it's weird." Mother Yao and Deputy Bureau Chief Yao, who had seen Yi Qian before, recognized her. Now that she was an alumnus invited by Yang Heng, no matter how weird it was, their daughter shouldn't say it out loud. They knew that their daughter had been feeling wronged since that incident, but they couldn't help it. Who told their daughter to kick an iron plate? Deputy Bureau Chief Yao also pretended to be angry. You like to meddle in other people's business. Yi Qian is the daughter of a martyr. How can a child without parents compare to you, who grew up in a honey jar? If she wasn't stronger, how could she get to where she is today? Learn from others. Don't make me and your mom worry all day long. The two families stood together and could hear each other's words. Mother Yang's heart was not calm at this moment. Yi Qian was the daughter of a martyr. Her parents were no longer alive. She just said to the child, "Your parents must be proud of you." Didn't she hurt the poor child? If the Yao family didn't say it, she wouldn't have known. Because from Yi Qian's face, she couldn't see the cowardice of not having parents or the frivolity of an uneducated child. He gave her the feeling that he was steady and had his own opinions. After the game, she must apologize in person. She couldn't think that it was just an unintentional action and just let it go. Yao Jing, who let her parents take turns to scold her, kept acting like a spoiled child. Yi Qian stood 37 meters away and picked up a dart with one hand. In his mind, he recalled how they played darts just now. The tip of the dart needs to be slightly pointed upwards to stabilize the dart. That's right, the best way to play with darts is to hold the dart with 3 fingers. In that case, she would also try to hold the dart with 3 fingers. As for the principle, she would only know the difference between holding the dart with 3 fingers and holding it with multiple fingers after throwing the dart. Yi Qian, come on, come on. Come on, come on. Defeat them. The applause and cheers were extraordinarily loud. Yi Qian smiled and turned around to give them an okay sign. Her eyes were as clear as water. When she looked back and smiled, her beautiful face was like a magnolia with multiple petals. She was so clean that even adults would find her beautiful. This child was extraordinarily beautiful. Yang Heng's aunt Chief Song exclaimed, "Clean, really clean. Such a beautiful child is so clean. She looks so much better than the celebrities on TV." The moment the dart was thrown, Yi Qian understood why Wang Jin had 3 fingers, while the other 4 boys had multiple fingers. Multiple fingers allowed for better control when accelerating, but it would be difficult to release the dart. Naturally, the fingers would be slower. On the other hand, 3 fingers allowed for unstable acceleration, but released the dart quickly. If this was a competition, this was equivalent to buying time for oneself. The tip of the dart did not hit the smallest dot, but it was still pretty good. It hit the second dot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ah, it didn't drop, it didn't drop. Yi Qian, come on, come on. You're amazing. You're amazing. According to the 5-second rule, the dart had to be on the dartboard for at least 5 times. If it dropped, it would be considered a loss. Chapter 8:13. The girls cheered loudly as if they had seen hope. Wang Jin and the others looked at each other. Was this luck or skill? Did he hit it as soon as he went up? The distance was 37 meters, which was the standard distance for professional darts. He hit it as soon as he went up? It looks fun. Yang Heng, do you want to play together? Yao Jing didn't like this kind of praise, especially when she saw Mother Yang's gaze always falling on Yi Jian. She felt a little uncomfortable, but she couldn't go up so rashly, so she could only drag Yang Heng along. Let's go and play. You're the main character today. Let's play and have fun together. Yao Jing, who was wearing a pink princess dress, stood in the chandelier and acted coquettishly. Not only was she cute, but she was also a little naive. If you don't go up, then it'll be boring. She couldn't let Yi Qian take all the limelight. Yang Heng looked at her coldly and said, "If you want to go up and play, then go. See, there are already a few girls up there." It turned out that when the girls saw Yi Qian hit it in one throw, they thought it wouldn't be difficult and wanted to give it a try. Since there were already people going up, then it wouldn't be too conspicuous for her to go up. Yao Jing turned her head and made a face at Yang Heng. "If you're not going, then I'm going. It's not easy to have so many classmates play together. If I don't join, then it'll be disappointing." Because of Yang Heng, The possessive Yao Jing treated Yi Qian as her love rival. How could she let her love rival steal the limelight? On the stage, Yi Qian stood at the starting point where Wang Jin and the others threw their darts. After throwing the first dart, the girls saw hope and waited for the boys to do 50 sit-ups. Junior Yi Qian, you're not teasing us, right? We all think you've played before. Wang Jin, who pulled the dart out of the plate, was a little uncertain. The tip of the dart was deeply embedded in the plate. When he threw the dart, his finger movements were the same as his own. No matter how he looked at it, it seemed like he had played darts before. Yi Qian took the dart from him again. Faced with his uncertainty, he pursed his lips and smiled. I never tease people. I only tell them the truth. Indeed, I haven't played it before, but I saw you guys play it just now, and it felt quite good. The main thing was that he had a good sense of aiming. As long as he controlled his arm strength and mastered the essentials of throwing darts, there wouldn't be much of a problem. When Yi Qian was in the early stages of his sniping training, he had to carry a heavy object around his wrist. When it came to sniping training, he had to hold a sniper rifle that weighed about 5 kilograms with both hands and lie down in one place for several hours without moving. His control over his arm strength had long been trained, and his focus and aim were even better. Xia Jinyuan was racing on a rainy night. Even at such a high speed, she was able to hit the target. Coupled with her superb memory, she was able to copy the key points of Wang Jin's movements and achieve the result just now. Playing darts indeed requires a good sense of the game. You've got a good sense of the game after just one round. Wang Jin let out a long sigh. He deliberately put on a sad face and said, What should we do? I don't think the four of us can beat you. Yi Qian, who was playing with darts, suddenly laughed out loud. How is that possible? You guys are professional darts players. Why would you be afraid of a newbie like me? Yao Jing ran over to the main stage. She deliberately raised her voice and said crisply, That's right. Look at how self-aware Yi Qian is. How can you guys lower your morale? She only learned for a few minutes, and you guys are already so afraid. It seems like darts are pretty easy to learn. She then turned her gaze to the other high school girls who were watching from the stage. She smiled and asked, Isn't that so? Seniors, do you guys also think that it's pretty easy to learn? When it came to things like this, Yao Jing would always find a scapegoat. If she wasn't confident, she would let others try first so that she wouldn't embarrass herself. Yeah, we also think it's pretty easy, so we came to try. But we don't want to compete. We just think it's fun. The high school girls giggled. They just wanted to have some fun. They didn't have any intention of suppressing Yi Qian. They then said, Junior Yi Qian, don't worry about us. Hurry up and practice. The game will start in 5 minutes. Do your best. We have high hopes for you. Do your best, Yi Qian. I have high hopes for you too. Yao Jing playfully winked at Yi Qian. She walked over to the darts board and took out a dart. She weighed it in her hand. Her eyes flickered as she glanced at Yi Qian. She smiled and said, It seems pretty easy. Why don't I give it a try too? Seniors, come and teach me. I'll learn seriously. We can't do it. Let them teach you. The game hadn't started yet, so it was still okay to have some fun. The seniors pushed a boy over and smiled. Go, go, go. Teach Junior Yao Jing. There's only a few minutes left. Who knows, you might be able to teach an expert. The boy was shy, but he still walked over. Just as he was about to take out a dart and give it to Yao Jing, he saw that Yao Jing directly took a few darts in her hand and said, Thank you, senior brother, in a clear voice, but the darts were thrown over one after another. Senior brother, is it like this? The distance was close, so Yao Jing threw a dart on the board. Just like this? Senior brother, I'm doing it right. Look, I'm shooting. With her appearance, the entire stage became a one-person show. When the boy saw this, he nodded in embarrassment. Yes, just throw it like this. It's good enough that it hit the board. Since there was no competition, she could do whatever she wanted. Yi Qian was much more serious. He listened attentively to Wang Jin's explanation. Your arm strength seems to be pretty good. The tip of the dart is stuck in the board. But it doesn't matter. I can guarantee that the tip of the dart is stable. After dinner, the hotel staff quickly cleaned up the entire banquet hall and replaced it with fruits, snacks, and sweets so that the spectating students could continue eating and watching. Yi Qian's 5-minute warm-up time was up. After throwing 2 darts, she nodded to Wang Jin. Okay, we can start now. Me too, me too. This is fun. Yao Jing, who had at least 5 darts in her hand, trotted to Wang Jin's side. Tonight, she was the one with the most smiles and the sweetest smile. Count me in. I want to play too. Just now, the senior said that I played well. Senior sisters are also playing well. Let's play together. No, we have to make a bet. It's more fun with a bet. It was just for fun. There was no need to make a bet. Wang Jin quickly stopped her. No, no, no. We're just playing. There's no need to make a bet. It's a hobby, not a bet. If you want to play, let's play together. It was more fun with more people. Yang Heng walked up and took the 5 darts from Yao Jing's hand and handed them to Wang Jin. You can't leave me out. It's more fun to play together. Yes, it was more fun with more people. Chapter 8:14. Deputy Bureau Chief Yao said to Mother Yang, "These 2 children have been the same since they were young. They always stay together no matter where they go. Heng Heng is mature and steady. My daughter is mischievous and loves to laugh. One is quiet and the other is active. They complement each other and don't be impulsive." How can you say that? The children are all grown up. Stop joking around and don't make them feel awkward. Mother Yao smiled and glared at her husband. She said to Mother Yang, "Huiying, old Yao doesn't know how to talk. Don't listen to his nonsense. Heng Heng is in her 3rd year of high school. Studying is more important. When she gets into Hua University or Shi University, you can just wait to enjoy life." In this day and age, no matter what kind of parents, as long as they send their children to school, they all want their children to get into a good school. Only then will their family have hope. Mother Yang understood the meaning behind her neighbor's words. She smiled and said, "The children are all grown up. I see that Heng Heng treats everyone the same. She's cold and indifferent. I don't know who she takes after. One is quiet and the other is active? They complement each other and don't be impulsive. What's wrong with old Yao's family? The children are only in high school. Why do they act like their daughter can't get married? No matter how anxious they are, they shouldn't be this anxious. Could it be that there's something else? Yes, the children are all grown up. They don't belong to us anymore." Mother Yao nodded as if she was speaking from the bottom of her heart. She then looked at her daughter who was wearing a pink princess dress. She was especially dazzling among a group of students in school uniforms. Even Yi Jian could not steal her daughter's limelight. However, Yi Qian did have some tricks up her sleeve. She got to know Yang Heng within 2 months of coming to school. Their relationship was so close that she even attended his birthday party. She had so many tricks up her sleeve at such a young age. She was able to make Jing Jing suffer in her hands without saying a word. Mother Yao's gaze slid past Yi Qian's face. Her thoughts weren't just a little bit. Although the Yang family didn't interfere with Yang Heng's friends outside, Yi Qian, who didn't have any family background, would have some prejudice. So, either she came here on her own accord or Yang Heng played with her. Maybe they were just ordinary friends. She had to take a closer look to see how Yang Heng treated Yi Qian. She also had to see if Yi Qian harbored any ill intentions towards Yang Heng. After pondering for a while, Mother Yao looked at her little princess dotingly and said with a smile, "Jingjing really likes to join in the fun wherever she goes. I don't know if she knows how to play. Huiying, let's go and have a look." Mama Yang's surname was Song, and her name was Huiying. Hearing this, she smiled and said, "Sure, let's go take a look together." Since there were 2 adults coming over, the rest of the adults were interested. They gathered around the stage and watched the group of children playing on the stage. Wang Jin and the others originally only wanted to compete with Yi Qian, but when they saw Yao Jing, the girls in the class, and Yang Heng come in, they immediately said, "You guys go and play. You're not even on the same level as us professionals. It's not fun to play with you. Are you looking down on us?" "Senior, I was having a good time just now." Yao Jing pursed her lips and pulled Yang Heng aside, saying, "Let's play together. Yi Qian isn't a professional. We can all play together. Our seniors want to play too." Sensing that something was wrong, the girls in Class 3 returned the darts in their hands to Wang Jin and waved their hands, saying, "We really want to play, but we don't want to compete. Yao Jing, don't drag us into this. Just drag Yang Heng along." They pushed each other and whispered unnaturally, "Hurry up and get off the stage." Everyone got off the stage. None of them were forced to stay by Yao Jing. Chapter 8:15. After coming down from the stage, a few of them looked unhappy. They whispered that Yao Jing really likes to make her own decisions. "We don't even want to play. She keeps trying to embarrass us. She said she was asking us, but we didn't say anything. She made the decision again. What kind of person is she? I hate people like her the most. What a great model. I really thought she was cute. Forget it, let's not talk about it. Let's see what they'll do. I wonder how Yi Qian is doing. It's so boring to meet such a troublemaker." As they spoke, they looked over at Yi Qian. Seeing that he was trying out the darts for himself and didn't even look at Yao Jing, they couldn't help but smile. "I think Yi Qian didn't even notice her. What's there to notice if she's not good enough? If it were me, I wouldn't bother to look either." The girls giggled and whispered, but they didn't know that although Yi Qian didn't pay attention to Yao Jing, he saw her little actions. She just wanted to compete with her, but she was too cautious and didn't want to embarrass herself. She wanted to drag Yang Heng down as well, but she was afraid that it would be too obvious, so she dragged her seniors who were playing darts down as well. She wanted to do it naturally without causing any disgust. But girls were all petty. Yao Jing's actions had already made her seniors disgusted. But then again, if Ying had Yao Jing's methods and schemes, she wouldn't have transferred to the province's second high school. Yao Jing, who was standing on the stage, felt embarrassed when she saw that her senior sisters had all left the stage without giving her any face. If it weren't for Deputy Director Yao, who was laughing and joking about this matter, boys like Wang Jin and the others, who were straightforward and didn't understand a little girl's thoughts, would have embarrassed Yao Jing even more. With the adults interfering, no matter how unwilling Wang Jin and the others were, they could only agree to let Yao Jing participate in the competition. Because the adults had already said that it was just fun, so they should play. Who said it was fun? The 5 of them really wanted to compete with Yi Qian and see if the target shooting expert could play dart. They even wanted to pull her into their team. The 5 boys were divided into 2 groups. Wang Jin, another boy named He Zhang, Yi Qian, and Yang Heng were in one group. On the other hand, Yao Jing was in a group with 3 other boys. Both sides had 4 people. In terms of numbers, it was a tie. In terms of skill, it was barely a tie. This was because Wang Jin was the best at darts among the 5 of them. Based on the center of the circle, the team that hits the center the most wins. The time limit is 10 minutes. The punishment was to do 50 sit-ups in a minute. No one is allowed to go back on their word. 50 per person. Wang Jin repeated the rules once more. His gaze unintentionally slid past Yao Jing's face with a hint of impatience in his eyes. Yao Jing was just about to say that she didn't want to do 50 sit-ups when she saw Yi Qian staring at her with a faint smile. Her eyes darkened and she swallowed her words. "Heh, do you want to see me, Yao Jing, become a joke? Just wait and see." It was still unknown who would win and who would lose. She lifted her chin slightly and gave Yi Qian a faint smile. She winked and said, "It's so fun. The loser has to do 50 sit-ups. I wonder who came up with this idea. 50 sit-ups in a minute. Yi Qian, don't you think it's too difficult? It's not difficult because I'm the one who set the punishment. Yi Qian's lips curled into a smile. There was a hint of calmness between his brows. He didn't take Yao Jing's words to heart and didn't let them affect his mood. Chapter 8:16. The smile on Yao Jing's face froze, and her pupils constricted. She quickly smiled sweetly and said, "You have guts. You must win later, or else it'll be so embarrassing. Good luck, Yi Qian." 50 sit-ups. Did Yi Qian think she was a boy? Even if she lost, she wouldn't embarrass herself. There were 3 other good players in her group. If she lost, they would be the ones to lose face. Sneering inwardly, Yao Jing adjusted her breathing and looked at the dart board in front of her. She thought about how she had thrown 5 or 6 darts without any problems. Her eyes flashed with confidence, and the corners of her mouth curled up. Then let's see how good Yi Qian is. Both groups get ready. 10 minutes, start. The boy in charge of counting the time shouted. The first player, Wang Jin, stood at 2.37 meters and threw. The other group also stood at 2.37 meters and threw. 2 brass darts were thrown, and they hit the smallest circle in the middle at almost the same time. Good, good, good. The adults watching below the stage all applauded. Not bad, he really had some skills. Both teams won the first round and the audience applauded. Some people cheered for this group, while others cheered for the next group. With a good start, the members of both groups had smiles on their faces. "Don't take the darts, I'll do it." The boy in the second position reminded the player in front of him that a circle could hit 2 or 3 darts. After the first position threw, he immediately let the next player take over. This saved him the time to take the darts so he could try to get more darts. Yang Heng, who was standing beside Yi Qian, laughed and said, "I'm a little nervous. Don't blame me if I miss." "Why aren't you nervous when playing basketball?" Yi Qian only had time to reply before it was her turn. She and Yao Jing were both in the third position. The dart on the dart board was taken down by the second member. Yi Jian immediately stood at the 2.37-meter point and raised her hand with the dart tip slightly upward. Holding the dart with 3 fingers, she leaned slightly to one side and raised her arm to throw the dart. She accurately aimed at the center point and threw the dart lightly. Just as she threw the dart, she suddenly saw Yao Jing, who was supposed to be throwing darts with her, run less than a meter away and throw the dart easily. "I said it was easy. See, didn't I hit it?" Yao Jing pulled the dart out of the circle, turned around and smiled brightly. "You don't even dare to play such a simple game. I haven't learned from Yi Qian, and I hit the circle." The situation was not just a little bit awkward, but she had also run so close to the dart. She must be here to cause trouble. The 3 boys in Yao Jing's group were dumbfounded. Running so close to her to throw the darts, was she really dumb or was she pretending to be dumb? She couldn't be here to make others laugh, right? The applause did not stop because of Yao Jing. It was all for Yi Qian, especially the girls. Their voices were so loud that the boys beside them had to cover their ears. "Yi Qian, you can do it, you can do it! Come on, punish them with 50 sit-ups." No one paid attention to Yao Jing, and no one reminded her if she was wrong. Now that it was Yang Heng's turn, everyone's eyes were glued to him, afraid that they would miss the best moment. Yang Heng was the 4th player. Yi Qian dodged and he immediately threw the dart. The dart fell to the ground and the students in the class laughed. "Our slam dunk master is good at basketball. Even the teacher said it was good. Forget about the darts." Chapter 8:17. I'm not good enough. I'm just giving it a try. Yang Heng stood on the stage with a handsome smile. "I'm just here to make up the numbers. I'm not competing." Yang Heng wasn't angry at the students' teasing. He didn't know how to throw darts, but he saw Yao Jing causing trouble on the stage. He had no choice but to go on stage and suppress her to prevent her from being too arrogant. From the beginning, she had been targeting Yi Qian. She thought she had done it flawlessly, but in reality, anyone who paid a little attention could see that she was targeting Yi Qian. If even Wang Jin could see it, how could the other students not see it? He knew Yao Jing very well. When she realized that she was the one who had embarrassed herself, and Yi Qian had won all the way, she would hate Yi Qian even more. Then, she would be more careful and target Yi Qian even more. She would only have scruples if he stood on the stage to keep her in check. Yang Heng's self-teasing made the students of grade 12 class 1 laugh. Even though he had lost openly and honestly. It made it even more obvious that he was a true boy. Holding a dart in her hand, Yao Jing, who was standing in the trajectory of the dart, didn't react in time. She stood still and blocked the dartboard, successfully slowing down the fourth dart thrower in her group. Not only did she make a fool of herself, she also made a fool of her teammates. The boy was anxious and shouted at Yao Jing, who had just realized something was wrong. "Why are you still smiling like an idiot? Go away. I can catch up. You're standing in the wrong place. Invalid throw." Standing in the wrong place? Invalid throw? How was that possible? She didn't throw the dart directly at the dartboard. Instead, she stood at a certain distance before throwing the dart. But they said that she was standing in the wrong place. Then, Yao Jing's expression became awkward. Then, she was really standing in the wrong place. Suddenly, Yao Jing realized that she had made a very serious mistake. First, the applause just now wasn't for her, but for Yi Qian, who was throwing darts with her. The boy who was standing at the fourth position tried to catch up with Yao Jing, but it was difficult for him to do so after Yao Jing's stroke. F***ck, quick, the three of us and the three of them. Let's see if we can even it out. Wang Jin is faster, Yi Qian is a little slower. If we hold on, we'll be even. She didn't know how to throw, yet she pretended to be very good at it. We were tricked by her. Soon, it was King Gold again. F***ck. Yi Qian didn't even take off his darts. The three boys did not lower their voices when they spoke. When the enthusiasm of the entire competition was raised, how could they notice that they had to lower their voices? Right now, he only wanted to win. Deputy Director Yao and Mother Yao, who had all heard it, felt a little awkward. No matter how awkward it was, both husband and wife had the ability to turn the situation around. Mother Yao sighed and helplessly said to Mother Yang, "This girl is making trouble again. Other people are having a serious competition, but she's just going up to liven up the atmosphere so easily." As parents, they always had to take care of their children. Mother Yang could understand, but she couldn't let her children be so indulgent. When it was time to say something, she still had to say something. Mother Yang, who didn't want to be upset at her son's birthday party, also smiled and said, "Little Jing has been like this since she was young. You'll get used to it." Deputy Director Yao also tried to smooth things over for his daughter. Jing, this child, is making trouble. She doesn't treat this as a competition at all. Her heart isn't ordinary. Others treat it as a competition, but she treats it as having fun. Chapter 8:18. Old Yao, your words have a double meaning. Ha ha ha, if you don't treat the competition as a competition, then you're being narrow-minded? You? Director Yang laughed and joked. Let the children play around. Old Yao, you're an adult. Why are you getting involved? Deputy Director Yao laughed as well. Yes. Let the children play around. We adults will just watch. But my little girl Jing, she's going to throw a tantrum with me when she gets home. We have to let Heng persuade her. She doesn't listen to us. She only listens to Heng. Her rebellious period is here. We can only persuade her. Director Yang clapped his hands and stared intently at the stage. He was very interested in what Deputy Director Yao said, and he didn't deny it. At this time, Yao Jing was so embarrassed that she bit her lips. She really didn't know that there was a distance between the darts. No one told her. She thought that she just had to find the right distance to throw the darts. Yao Jing didn't run away from reality. Instead, she openly admitted her mistake. "I'm sorry. I thought I could just stand anywhere and throw. I'll pay attention this round." Admitting her mistake resolved the awkwardness and made her team members look better. It's okay. You can just stand at 2.37 meters and throw." The boys in the same group didn't say much. Since the girl admitted her mistake, then forget it. Anyway, it was just a game. Admitting her mistake was more acceptable than hiding it. In this aspect, Yao Jing was much better than Yi Ying. Yi Qian's group had already thrown 2 rounds. In both rounds, Yi Qian hit the center circle. Wang Jin's heart trembled as he watched. He was really good. He didn't miss on his first try. Unfortunately, it was a 2-group competition. It would be more interesting if it was an individual competition. "Yao Jing, don't go the wrong way." The second round was Yao Jing's turn. The boy beside her quickly reminded her, afraid that she would run to a distance less than 50 centimeters away from the darts board again. That wasn't throwing, that was stabbing. Stabbing the dart directly was as easy as raising your hand. A distance of 2.37 meters wasn't a short distance. Yao Jing stood at the distance and tried several times to throw the dart toward the center circle, but she still couldn't throw it. So far. How did Yi Qian do it? Quick. It was Yi Qian again. They're all in the third round. Hurry up and throw it. Who cares if it hits or not? You have to make room for me. The guy behind Yao Jing urged. If the front didn't throw the darts, the team members at the back could only wait and waste time. If Yao Jing didn't care whether she could hit the target or not, she would have done it long ago. But because she wanted to hit the target, she kept trying. She turned her head and saw Yi Qian maintaining a slightly tilted posture as he threw the ball over effortlessly. Yao Jing heard another round of cheers and thunderous applause from the audience. She pursed her lips and felt very uncomfortable. She only knew how difficult it was after trying to hit 2.37 meters. It was difficult for her to even hit the dartboard, let alone hit the center circle. No, I have to learn from her posture first. Maybe I'll be lucky and hit the target. Yao Jing didn't care about the urging of the guy behind her. She imitated Yi Qian's posture and threw the dart. The dart tip was at least a meter away from the target. It didn't even touch the darts and fell to the ground. Chapter 8:19. The sensitive girls could tell that Yao Jing was imitating Yi Qian. They all pursed their lips and giggled. She was making a fool of herself. Yang Heng, who also missed his target with a dart in his hand, glanced coldly at the embarrassed Yao Jing. The corners of his mouth curled up slightly. Provoking Yi Jian? I really don't know what kind of brain she has. When it was Wang Jin's turn to throw the darts again, his team was 1 round faster than Yao Jing's team, and the applause was all for them. As for Yao Jing's apology, it was like throwing a small stone into the sea. It didn't even cause a splash. Do you still want to play? Yang Heng stopped playing and walked to Yao Jing, who was smiling fakely. If you want to find fault, you have to see if you have the ability to do so. If you continue playing, don't blame me for not reminding you. You'll be the one making a fool of yourself. Yao Jing knew that she would be the one making a fool of herself if she continued playing, but she couldn't just quit like that. How embarrassing! She pouted and said unhappily, I don't want to play anymore. It's not as fun as I imagined. Come down with me. This kind of competition wasn't something she could handle. It was better for her to quit early and not embarrass herself even more. A cold light flashed in Yang Heng's eyes as he walked down the stage with a smile on his handsome face. A few men who were close to him reached out their hands and clapped happily. A boy said, with you as a comparison, we'll enjoy watching. Wang Jin and the others do have some skills. Yi Qian is even better. She has never thrown before and hasn't missed in 4 rounds. She's good at playing and learning. Most importantly, she's so beautiful and has such a good personality. I had some evil intentions at first, but I don't dare anymore. I'm afraid I'll blaspheme her." Yao Jing, who originally wanted to continue following Yang Heng, heard this. Her eyes flashed with a gloomy coldness, followed by a gloating malice. She needed to call Luo Ran and see where he was now. Blaspheme? Ha! She really wanted to see Yi Qian, a commoner girl, being blasphemed. She quietly walked out of the banquet hall and saw a few taxis stop at the entrance of the hotel. The first one to get out was Luo Ran. He got out in a huff and even the door was on fire. Luo Ran. She motioned for Luo Ran to speak with her outside the hotel so that no one could see them. Without Yao Jing and Yang Heng, it became a 3-on-3 competition. The whole process was very exciting. Wang Jin and the other two boys had to draw a line every time they threw the darts, but Yi Qian only needed to stand at a distance of 237 meters, and his throwing speed was only slightly slower than Wang Jin and the other boys. Mother Yang listened to her son's classmates excitedly discussing. She had always thought that Yi Qian had also learned how to play darts. Only now did she realize that Yi Qian had only learned it for a while. She said in surprise, "Aya, this child is really good at both civil and martial arts. Maybe it's because I grew up in the army, so I'm familiar with these boys' games." Compared to the smile on Mother Yang's face, the smile on Mother Yao's face was much lighter. When her daughter came down from the stage, the smile on her face disappeared. Originally, her daughter was the most outstanding one. Who would have thought that she would be suppressed by Yi Qian again and successfully attract the attention of the Yang family? Her methods were so high that it made her, an adult, tremble. She said, "It's not good for a girl to be too outstanding. For families like yours and mine, the most important thing is character." Chapter 820. Mother Yang glanced at her former neighbor and frowned slightly. Was she telling her that Yi Qian's character wasn't good? Over the years, she didn't like Jing's overbearing personality, so she didn't interact much with the Yao family. She didn't expect the old neighbor to have changed so much. She even liked to gossip behind her back. Her own child was excellent, but other children were also excellent. How could she say that other children's character wasn't good? She didn't have the grace and tolerance that an adult should have. "I think they're all good. Those who can go to the experimental class and represent the country can't be too bad," Mother Yang said faintly and clapped with a smile. The 10 minutes of competition on the stage had already ended. Mother Yao's expression stiffened. Her old neighbor meant that those who could go to the experimental class and represent the country were good children, but those who didn't go to the experimental class and didn't go abroad to compete weren't good children? Why did it sound like she was talking about Jing Jing? Mother Yao, who felt uncomfortable in her heart, wanted to say a few more words. However, when she saw Mother Yang's elegant expression, smiling and applauding for the wonderful performance on the stage, she frowned and thought to herself, "Huiying seems to treat Yi Jian differently." Mother Yao adjusted her expression and clapped with a smile. She didn't want to affect the relationship between the old neighbors. No matter what, her family had a good relationship with the Yang family. As long as Jing Jing and Yang Heng continued their relationship, it wouldn't be difficult for the two families to become in-laws. How could the picky Mother Yang take a fancy to a girl who had suddenly appeared out of nowhere? For Yi Qian, she didn't care about other people's opinions when she was reborn. Especially for an adult like Mother Yao who was picky about other people's children, she wouldn't care. Yi Qian's team will definitely win. She only missed twice. Forget it. I think the two teams are about the same. But Li Qian's team is 2 rounds slower than Yi Qian's team. It's a bit difficult to win. While the students were discussing, Yi Qian's team did indeed win after calculating the center circle of the two teams. Based on the individual probability of hitting the center circle, Yi Jian only hit 2 fewer center circles than Wang Jin, which was the same as the other 4 boys. After careful calculation, the boys still lost. I can't believe this is your first time playing. How can the 5 of us believe such a high hit rate? Wang Jin and the other 4 looked at Yi Qian's individual score and were all in disbelief. Only 2 points less than Wang Jin. They had been practicing for a long time, but they were defeated by Yi Qian so easily. They couldn't accept it, and at the same time, their fighting spirit was ignited. Why don't we play with 2 darts and 3 darts again? Wang Jin's interest was piqued. He was reluctant to let go of his opponent. Yi Qian didn't want to play anymore. He smiled and said, I've never played darts before, but I like to play with a slingshot. It's the same hit rate. I just need to find the feeling. I can still throw a center circle. I'm afraid I won't be able to do it if I play a bigger one. How could Yi Qian, who was more thoughtful than the boys, agree? After all, it was Yang Heng's birthday party. It was Yang Heng's main venue. They played darts for the students to have fun, not for the guests to play. Chapter 8:21. Moreover, it was enough to play 1 round of this kind of competition. There was really no point in continuing to play. She said, Don't use your ultimate moves. I was sweating just now. If we continue, I can't. My legs are a little weak. Yi Jian never thought that showing weakness was a sign of cowardice. She was confident, and there was no sign of cowardice between her eyebrows. If they continued to play, it was hard to tell who would win and who would lose. 2 darts at once, 3 darts at once. She didn't know if it was 2 consecutive darts, but the targets were similar. When she was training in the desert, Uncle Jen would throw 2 objects at the same time, and they would fly over together with the sand. She had to hit both objects at once to pass the test. If it was similar, she was confident that she could beat the boys. However, there was no need to continue. Enough was enough. At this point, the girls were waiting for the boys to start doing sit-ups. Wang Jin and the other 4 reacted quickly and said, If you're willing to bet, you're willing to lose. 50 sit-ups. Come, let's do it together. They finished the 50 sit-ups happily and ended the competition perfectly. Yang Heng, who was standing next to Director Yang, smiled and said, Dad, what do you think? I told you she's good at this. It's her first time and she's already so good. I'm so happy to have a friend like her. Oh, just a friend? No other thoughts? Director Yang smiled and teased his son. I think this girl is very charming. Are you sure you just want to be a friend? Yang Heng also smiled as he looked at his father, who was teasing him. He said frankly, It's because she's very charming and I know very well what I'm capable of. That's why we're only suitable to be friends, and only friends. He wasn't belittling himself, but sometimes you have to know your limit. If you know you can't do something, then don't force it. Moreover, what's wrong with being friends? Being friends means you don't have to worry about your friend being taken away by others. Director Yang smiled in relief at his son's thoughtfulness. Yi Qian was indeed a good girl. Because she was too good, he knew his son couldn't control such a girl. Now that he didn't need to remind them, the problem didn't exist. How could Director Yang not be gratified? Yang Heng laughed and said, Also, I dare say that if we continue to play, she may not lose. Now that you've said you don't want to play anymore, you're able to pick up and let go. You're even bolder than the boys. He is indeed very courageous. Children these days are able to leave some face for others without batting an eyelid. It's rare. Bureau Chief Yang had been in politics for a long time, so he naturally had a good eye for people. Nodding his head with a smile, he praised, She did not waste her talent. She grew up to be so outstanding even without parents. It's very meaningful to have such a friend. Dad supports you. Everyone in politics knew the importance of connections. Yi Qian was still a student, but with her talent, she would definitely achieve great things in the future. Being friends with such a person would not only spur his son on, but also help his son in the future. But, after pondering for a while, Bureau Chief Yang reminded him in a low voice, Yang Heng, you have to treat people with sincerity. Don't pretend to be nice to her. We'll be friends for life. Since we've decided on them, we have to treat them well. Although it was said that there are no lifelong friends, only lifelong interests, as long as you met the right friend, it was worth it to make friends. Chapter 8:22. Even if they did not work together in the future, they were once friends who treated each other wholeheartedly. I know. That's why I thought of her as a friend from the start. Also, please help me keep an eye on Uncle Yao. Yao Jing is prejudiced against her. The last sentence was what Yang Heng wanted to say. Bureau Chief Yang frowned and nodded lightly. Although he did not say anything, his nod was enough to show that he knew what was going on. Seeing that his father had nodded, Yang Heng heaved a sigh of relief. The heavy burden in his heart had finally been lifted. He pursed his lips and said in a low voice, "I've always wanted to tell you, but I was afraid that you wouldn't like it and Yi Jian wouldn't agree. Yao Jing may look lively, but she has too many tricks up her sleeves. Just now, her tricks were so frequent that I was annoyed just by looking at them." Uncle Yao and Auntie Yao did not stop her. They even indulged her and thought that it was just a small matter. In the long run, Yao Jing's character will bring trouble to Uncle Yao's family sooner or later. The father and son spoke softly. Yao Jing, who had contacted Luo Ran, came back and complained to her parent. Her delicate face was gloomy. She knew that this was Yang Heng's birthday party, but she stole the limelight. How can there be such an annoying person like her? Mom, talk to Auntie Yao later. Don't let her be deceived by her appearance. That's enough. You were in the wrong just now, and you still have the nerve to criticize others. Keep your head up and your chest out. Don't shrink your neck. Father Yao criticized in a low voice. Yi Qian is very outstanding. You have to admit that. You have to understand that you are not as good as others. Look at her. She fought against 5 people alone, and she didn't panic at all. She even forced the 5 boys to sweat. If you don't want your limelight to be stolen, you have to have the ability to steal the limelight from others. If it were you, with your character, you would definitely follow up the victory and make yourself look good. But look at her. She knows when to stop. Not only did she take care of the boys' faces, but she also won their respect. Moreover, this is Yang Heng's birthday party. He is the main character. Mother Yao was not Sun Dongqing. She had to teach her child when she made a mistake and did not know how to behave properly. She also criticized with a sullen face. You didn't even know how to read people's faces. What I taught you, where did it all go? Also, your dad and I have warned you not to go against Yi Jian. And you? You think you're the host today just because your Uncle Yang and Auntie Yang smiled at you? You're stealing the limelight. Even I'm embarrassed. Apologize to your Uncle Yang and Auntie later. Children can be immature, but they must know how to admit their mistakes. Calm as. The couple was not in the mood to watch anymore. They discussed in secret. At 9:30 p.m., a huge birthday cake was pushed up. The applause of the whole class did not stop. The candles were lit, and the entire banquet hall was brightly lit. Only a few small lights were left on. In the faint candlelight, a happy birthday song was played. Chapter 8:23. Yi Qian looked at the clock on the wall. It was almost time to leave. Today was the day she decided to meet Luo Ran. Now she was going to meet him at the back alley of the bar. In the cheerful birthday song, Yi Jian accurately walked to Wang Jin's side and said softly, "I have something to do. I'll be back later." "Okay, I'll leave you a big piece of cake to smear on Yang Heng's face." Wang Jin didn't know that Yi Qian was going to fight. He thought she would be back later. He didn't ask for more details. He was thinking about how to sneak up on Yang Heng. He didn't even notice when Yi Qian left. When Yi Qian left, she took 10 darts with her because she realized they were pretty good as weapons. When the lights came on and the cake was cut, no one ate it. Everyone was playing with the cake. Yang Heng was the worst. His clean and handsome face even had eyelashes. Yi Qian left? Did she say where she was going? Why didn't you wait for me to come back? When Yang Heng heard Wang Jin's message, he frowned so hard that a piece of cream almost fell off. After asking, he realized that he had misspoken, so he patted Wang Jin's shoulder. I'm sorry, I was a little impatient. Wang Jin quickly said, It's okay, it's okay. I know. A girl said she was going to leave for a while. I didn't ask. She said she would be back later. He didn't know how late she would be back. How long would she be gone for? Yi Qian didn't say, so no one knew when she would be back. Yang Heng tried to recall Yi Qian's expression tonight. No matter how hard he tried, he couldn't find anything wrong with Yi Qian. He was playing darts happily and laughing happily. He didn't even take Yao Jing's provocation seriously. Every time, he would hit back with 4 ounces of jacks, causing Yao Jing to be in a disadvantageous position. If she didn't leave because she was unhappy, then it was very likely she left for personal reasons. She left? Does no one know why she left? When Mama Yang heard about it, she frowned slightly and said to her husband, Old Yang, do you think that child saw that Jing was deliberately looking for trouble and left because she felt uncomfortable? As he spoke, he paused and sighed. I also said something I shouldn't have said. I don't know if that child is feeling uncomfortable in his heart. She repeated what she had said unintentionally. Yang Heng immediately said, Mom, don't worry about this. She won't take it to heart. If he still hasn't returned by the time the event ends, I'll go look for him. He shouldn't have gone too far. Perhaps he really did have some urgent matters to attend to. I think that child knows his limits. You two don't have to worry. If he doesn't come back in half an hour, I'll send someone to check. Chief Yang trusted Yi Qian quite a lot. She was a young girl who could help the police solve big cases. She was a very meticulous child. Under normal circumstances, she would not put herself in danger. He believed that she really did leave because of an urgent matter and not because she was unhappy. The city before 10 o'clock was not as lively as it would be 10 years later. At this time, there were fewer cars and people. When you walked to the side of the road, the speed of the passing cars was twice as fast as it was during the day. Yi Qian walked out of the hotel at a leisurely pace. There were a few people following behind her. Chapter 8:24. It was late at night, and a single girl was followed by a few unidentified men. Anyone who saw this would feel that something was wrong. When Yi Qian came out of the banquet hall, she saw a few men sitting on the sofa in the hotel lobby. One of them had a head of yellow hair. He was one of the men she ran into when she came back late from training last time. Brother Huang. That was what she heard someone call him. Seeing her come out, the men led by Brother Huang straightened their backs and looked at her. It was obvious that they were waiting for her. She didn't care about these people. The key person was Luo Ran, so she had to wait for him to come out. She walked out of the hotel unhurriedly and walked along the road until she reached the intersection. She waited for the traffic light to turn green. Several men who were following her stood not far away. They kept swinging something in their hands. It was a small knife that could be swung nimbly. A black car gradually came to a stop as the traffic light turned green. Yi Qian crossed the road as the traffic light turned green and arrived at the Caesar Hotel on the opposite side of the road. Third Master, look. The driver said softly, It's the girl who left with Miss Xia last time. She's going to the wasteland where we're going to build the club. There are 2 groups of people following her. Ho Zi, who had just finished a business meeting and was a little drunk, narrowed his eyes and looked at the few people following her. He said calmly, These people aren't enough to be her appetizers. Send a few of them to keep an eye on her. If there's anything, help her clean up the scene. Don't leave any traces. Not only was the little girl good at fighting, but she was also good with guns. It was a pity that he had never seen her before. It was all from their school. Even Commander-in-Chief Xia didn't stop her. As long as nothing happened in the future, it wouldn't be a problem for her to become Family Xia's daughter-in-law. Since that was the case, he would naturally take care of her as much as he could. Besides, he wanted the little girl to call him Brother Z. She even called him Brother Z. How could he just stand by and watch? The car drove directly to the entrance of the hotel. The doorman recognized that it was his boss' car. He immediately opened the door and waited for his boss to come out. The lobby manager quickly walked from the lobby to the revolving door and waited for Ho Zi to come in before saying softly, "Third Master, we have an important guest on the 23rd floor." He softly said a name, but before he could finish his sentence, a tall figure appeared outside the revolving door. "I don't know when he left. He's behind you now." After the lobby manager finished speaking, he folded his hands in front of his lower abdomen and retreated to the side. Ho Zi turned around and suppressed the smell of alcohol in his stomach. Looking at the man who came in, Dan Feng's eyes were full of smiles. The smile on his handsome face came from the bottom of his heart. Even though there was a hint of vicissitudes in the corners of his eyes, it didn't affect his handsomeness at all. "No wonder Iwei said that Nan Province has become your second home. You come back here every few days and spend your pitiful holidays on dating. Be careful that the old lady at home will be angry," he joked. Gradually, there was a hint of sadness in his eyes. He raised his hand and directly hooked the shoulder of the man who was admiring his drunkenness with interest. Even his happy smile had a hint of sadness. "Your sister has something to do. Help me persuade her. Today, she suddenly said that she wants to break up with me." I'm King dumbfounded. "Break up? CK. She's the only woman I've had for 17 years. Why should she break up with me?" Chapter 825. I support my sister's decision to break up with you. My sister's first love is back. He's also single and a world-class architect. He's not any worse than you, Brother Z. Xia Jinyuan smiled faintly. He went to the school to look for Yi Qian but couldn't contact Yi Qian. He wasn't in the mood to comfort a broken-hearted old man. He was called an old man by Little Fox when he was 20 years old. Ho Zi was almost 40 years old, so he should be an old man. He was almost 40 years old but still got dumped. How pitiful. Even if he was pitiful, it had nothing to do with him. Of course, he would stand on the side of his family. Xia Jinyuan removed Ho Zi's arm and said to the people around him, "Brother Z is drunk. You guys help him upstairs to rest." He didn't have time to care about other things. Even Uncle Chen didn't know where Yi Qian went. He called Lu Tuan and also said that Yi Qian hadn't been there for 2 weeks. Tonight, where did Yi Qian go? Ho Zi was a little drunk, but he wasn't drunk to the point where he needed help. He looked at Xia Jinyuan's young and tall figure and sighed deeply because of the breakup. He smiled faintly and said, 23 years old. Iwei is 23 years old and has been with me for 4 years. Just as he finished speaking, Ho Zi's single phoenix eyes suddenly tightened. What did old Six say just now? Did he say Iwei's first love was back? Damn it. No wonder he couldn't find anything after half a month of investigation. It turned out that he was back. Ho Zi suddenly felt a sense of crisis and restrained his expression. There was a faint but obvious trace of hostility on his face. He couldn't win against him in the past and it was the same now. He wanted to steal his woman? No way. Old Six had done him such a big favor as soon as he came back. Naturally, he had to return the favor. Yi Qian didn't know that he was seen by Ho Zi. She heard the footsteps behind her and with a faint smile in her eyes, she led these people to the wasteland behind Caesar Hotel. The development of the southern province's provincial capital was not as impressive as it would be 10 years later. If he wanted to find a quiet place to teach someone a lesson, he only needed to avoid the city's roads and a few heaven's eyes. Behind the Caesar Hotel was a piece of barren land. Weeds grew all over the ground, making it look like a natural lawn. It was late at night, and there wasn't even a street light. Yi Qian stood quietly by the side, waiting for them to come over. She walked quickly and calmly. Coupled with the darkness around her, the few hooligans who were following her felt their hair stand on end. Luo Ran, who was at the back, looked at the desolate surroundings. He wasn't afraid at all. Instead, he felt that this was an opportunity. Luo Ran, who had followed them all the way from the hotel, no longer hid at the back. He quickly caught up with Brother Huang in front of him and said fiercely, "No one will know even if you destroy the body in a place like this. She led us here in the middle of the night. You must teach this woman a lesson." Damn it, I can finally vent my anger. No matter how incompetent Luo Ran was, he could tell that Yi Qian had deliberately led them here. There were many people around him, and all of them were armed with knives. Luo Ran wasn't afraid at all. He just wanted to take care of Yi Qian as soon as possible so that he could vent his anger. Although he was in the underworld, he didn't have the experience of hooligans like Brother Huang. A woman had the guts to lead them here. Could there be another ambush? He didn't move immediately. Instead, he said, "We still have to observe her for a while. This little girl has guts. She led us all here by herself. Brother, why don't you think about how she can be so bold?" Chapter 8:26. You guys are really stupid. I arranged to meet her behind the bar. If there was an ambush, it would be behind the bar. It was rare for Luo Ran to be smart. He said in a low voice, "Don't tell me she can predict that we'll wait for her in the hotel? Will she arrange an ambush immediately?" Luo Ran couldn't wait any longer. He couldn't wait to beat Yi Qian up to vent his anger. Yi Qian didn't want to wait any longer. She wanted to finish this as soon as possible so she could go back to the hotel and sleep. She was resting so early. She still had to rush to the training ground tomorrow morning to start her car training. She bent down and picked up 2 medium-sized stones from the bushes. She threw them in the direction of the voice. Before the stones hit the ground, Yi Qian's cold voice came from the darkness. "Luo Ran, you brought so many people here. Do you still need to hide? Damn it, they're provoking us." Brother Huang walked to the front with a knife in his hand. He was humiliated if he didn't stand up after being provoked by a student. Luo Ran originally wanted to listen to Yao Jing. It would be best if he didn't show himself. Now that things had come to this, he couldn't care less. He brought people here, so why should he be afraid of her? "Yi Qian, if I don't beat you until you call me Grandpa tonight, my surname isn't Luo." Luo Ran took out a knife from his pocket and stared fiercely at the direction of the voice. He vaguely saw a shadow, but he didn't see anything. Yi Qian moved her hands and feet. She took the silver wire from her wrist and walked towards the group of people. The night was too dark for Luo Ran, Brother Huang, and the others. They wanted to surround Yi Qian and beat her up, but now they couldn't even see her exact location. But to Yi Qian, darkness was a good camouflage. Brother Huang was still looking for his target. He didn't realize that Yi Qian was less than a meter away from them. When he saw a shadow slowly walk into his line of sight, Brother Huang was delighted. He spat and fiercely ordered his men, "Use your fists first. Kill this girl. Ah!" As he spoke, one of his underlings standing to his right suddenly screamed and fell into the grass. His hands clutched at his neck, his legs kicked, and a sharp and terrified scream came from his throat. My neck, brother! Huang, my. He could still shout at the beginning, but in the end, he couldn't make a sound. He was gasping for air, and there was no way for him to call for help. The Wolf Dao's survival method was to always remember to attack the most fatal part of the prey when attacking. The silver threads in Yi Qian's hands were most suitable for long wraps, and wrapping around a person's neck was the fastest, easiest, and most frightening. After a blood-curdling scream, there was only the sound of struggling gasping for air. Without any warning, something happened suddenly. Hearing the scream, Brother Huang and the others, whose scalps were numb, were all so frightened that they took a few steps back. There was panic in their expressions at that moment. Damn it! What happened? They wanted to break Yi Qian's spirit, but they were scared instead. Yi Qian wouldn't kill anyone. She walked over when the other party was about to suffocate and easily retrieved the silver threads. In the darkness, no one could see what she did. They only heard the hooligan who was the first to finish off the other party groan in pain. It was so painful that he fainted. Chapter 8:27. Yi Qian, who was missing a dart, stood where Brother Huang and the others had retreated. She smiled coldly, and her light voice was filled with killing intent. What's wrong? We haven't even started and you're all so scared that you want to run? Are you here for a fight? Luo Ran, what should I say about you? You're a weakling, and I didn't expect you to find someone who's also a weakling. You really make me look down on you. How about this? I won't make things difficult for you. I'll let you go if each of you dismember an arm. How about that? Of course not. Her words were hurtful and humiliating. Brother Huang kicked one of his men and shouted angrily, Motherf *****, get him. What are you waiting for? If one came, one would be crippled. If a pair came, 2 pairs would be crippled. Yi Qian never minded using violence to solve problems. After all, using hands was always easier than using brains. The silver wire was a killing weapon. Even if it was usually used as a decoration, those who didn't recognize it would only think it was a bracelet made of silver. Once its true form was revealed, killing people would be as easy as taking something out of a bag. The person who had it in the past had killed countless people. And now, Yi Qian, who had gone through a life and death situation, was more flexible in using it to its fullest potential. Screams came from the wilderness. The screams made people's hair stand on end. The screams were so loud that the last few men couldn't even hold their knives steadily. They couldn't see where the person they were supposed to beat was. All they saw was a black shadow, and the black shadow of their brothers before they fell. As for the others, they couldn't see her, and they didn't know where she was. They couldn't even hear her voice. They only knew that she was right beside them, like a beast hibernating in the dark. She would suddenly jump out and give them a fatal blow. Brother Huang, why don't we just leave? This woman is strange, too strange. I can't see where she is. I can only hear our brothers screaming. Brother Huang, don't tell me they're dead. In the end, there were only 5 of the 10 men left, including Luo Ran and Brother Huang. In other words, Yi Qian had taken down 7 people in a short period of time. Even so, Yi Qian didn't feel any sense of accomplishment. She could more or less smell the white substance synthesized from morphine alkaloids on these people's bodies. Those who took this substance would collapse from the inside out. To take them down, Yi Qian only needed to prevent them from scratching her body and prevent their blood from infecting her body. In such a good world, such a good time, and such a good life, she did not want to be infected with AIDS for more than 10 years and still be unable to be cured. As long as one of the people who ingested harmful substances got sick and someone else used the needle he used, the chances of getting sick were quite high. Like, crawling. To. Hearing the sounds of the grass around them, Brother Huang shivered and realized that things weren't going well. He sniffed hard and his voice cracked. Go. He would be an idiot if he kept fighting. That woman was obviously not easy to deal with. Chapter 8:28. He said that he wanted to leave, but he had to be able to do so first. Suddenly, the bright lights of several motorcycles came from the front. They were so bright that it was blinding and made people panic. Do you know whose place this is? If you don't, why don't you take a look at the words on the top of the building? Someone said coldly. He had never heard of the voice before, but the bloody smell in the voice was not unfamiliar to Yi Qian. Only someone who had killed before would have such a bloody smell. The entire building was Caesar Hotel. It was a little tall, so she couldn't see the words on the top of the building. At least, when Yi Qian looked up, she couldn't see it. Just because she couldn't see it didn't mean that Yi Qian didn't know where this place was. And those who knew where this place was might not know whose territory Caesar Hotel was. The person who spoke was one of Ho Zi's subordinates, who was both a brother and a friend. He also had a certain status in the underworld. People like Luo Ran didn't know that after hearing Yi Qian's words, he was already furious. He shouted angrily, "I don't King care whose territory this is. This is between me and her. What does it have to do with you?" The knife in Brother Huang's hand fell to the ground. He trembled and knelt down. It's Third Master's territory. Third Master, I didn't mean to offend you. It's just that this high school student asked me to teach a little girl a lesson. I took his money and came here because I was possessed. Third Master, please spare me. Third Master, please spare me. Third Master, please raise your hand and let me go. Third Master, please spare me. Third Master, please spare me. The light was too strong. It shone on Brother Huang and the other hooligans, who were half squinting. It also illuminated the situation of the hooligans who had fallen earlier. Their shoulders were strangely twisted. One or two of them fell to the ground with a painful expression. They couldn't raise their hands to stuff their mouths and take out their clothes. They could only rub their bodies and legs on the grass and make gurgling sounds from their throat. It was easy for Brother Huang and the others to think that they were man-eating crawling monsters. No one cared about them. Brother Huang was so scared that he knelt down and begged for mercy. He didn't have the time to care about his subordinate. Someone stepped forward and stood under the strong light. The figure was tall and slender like a tall mountain. He didn't stop but walked towards them step by step. Against the light, Brother Huang's body trembled like a sieve when his eyes were blinded by the light. Then, he saw that his pale yellow pants were wet. He only saw a figure, but he was so frightened by the aura that he lost control of his bladder. Other than Luo Ran, who was still showing off his fierceness, the other three hooligans were so scared that their bodies were like leaves floating in the autumn wind. They were so scared that they couldn't even touch the ground, and could be killed at any time and sent to heaven. The figure didn't walk fast, but every step he took made Brother Huang and the other hooligans afraid of him. It was a murderous aura that only those who had lived on the battlefield and whose hands were stained with blood could have. No one could replicate it and no one could compare to him. This kind of aura might be frightening to others, but Yi Qian was very familiar with it. He didn't expect that he would appear again. Compared to the last time he saw Xia Jinyuan a year ago, the number of times he appeared in front of him now was a little too much. The figure stood under the strong light and walked towards them step by step. He stopped in front of Brother Huang, who had lost control of his bladder. Chapter 829. Without giving the other party a chance to beg for mercy, he lifted his slender leg and kicked the other party in the face. A few bloody teeth flew out of Brother Huang's mouth. Little girl? Was he talking about his little fox? Asking for a beating? Looking for death? Ah! A blood-curdling scream burst out from Brother Huang's throat. His entire body was sent flying by the kick. He was half dead from the kick. Without further ado, this person's action scared the other three hooligans so much that they lost control of their bowels. Was the person who kicked Brother Huang Master Ho-san? Was he the third Master Ho, a well-known figure in the underworld who was known to be ruthless and feared by everyone? If it was really Master Ho-san, no one in the underworld would dare to say a word about it, let alone find out that it was Master Ho who did it. Master Ho-san, please spare our lives. It really has nothing to do with us. That brat said he was going to get rid of the girls in his school. We were paid to do it. We came with Brother Huang to do it. Master Ho-san, please spare our lives. Luo Ran, whose eyes were spitting fire, gritted his teeth and cursed, "Damn it! How dare you ruin my business!" He picked up the knife in his hand and stabbed it at Xia Jinyuan, who had yet to speak. Yi Qian saw this and threw the silver wire in his hand. It wrapped around Luo Ran's neck like a collar. He didn't even need to use any strength. The silver wire wrapped tightly around Luo Ran's neck as Luo Ran ran forward. Luo Ran's eyes widened as he tried to protect his neck with his hands. He wanted to pull out the thing that was strangling him. The more he struggled, the tighter the silver wire wrapped around his neck. The Grim Reaper was getting closer and closer to his face. Luo Ran was scared. "Let go of me. My father is a famous entrepreneur in Southern Province. How dare you do this to me? My father won't let you off. Damn it, let go of me. Let go." The thing that was strangling his neck was getting tighter and tighter. It was getting harder and harder to breathe. In the end, he couldn't even open his mouth to speak. He could only gasp for air to keep him alive. Yi Qian walked over with a silver thread wrapped around one knee and said to the angry Xia Jinyuan, "It's just a small matter." "Why are you angry?" "I'm not angry." Captain Xia was not a person who would easily get angry. At this moment, she could see that Jun Yan's expression was indifferent. He was really angry. Little ghosts are hard to deal with. Some things can be dealt with in one go, so go back to the hotel and rest. "I'll deal with it," Xia Jinyuan said calmly. The murderous intent in his voice was like a knife that cut through everyone's hearts. Just by listening to the sound, Brother Huang and the other hooligans felt like they had died countless times. "Third Master, please spare my life. Third Master, please spare my life." We had eyes but failed to recognize Mount Tai and offended Third Master. "Third Master, please be magnanimous and let us go. Please let us go, Third Master." At this moment of life and death, they didn't care about the gold under their knees. They knelt on the wasteland where their knees hurt and kept kowtowing and begging for mercy. No one could clearly see Xia Jinyuan's face as he stood against the light in his casual clothes. They only knew that with such a man standing in front of them, all of them were little things that he could silently get rid of with a wave of his hand. It was as easy as blowing off dust. Luo Ran, on the other hand, was just a high school student who had been raised with money. No matter how arrogant he was, he would always say that he wanted to take other people's lives. However, when it came to his own life, he would be so scared that even his pupils would shrink. Chapter 830. He was intimidated by Xia Jinyuan's murderous aura. A chill ran up from the soles of his feet and stopped right in front of his heart. He was so scared that every cell in his body was reminding him to run, run. If he didn't run now, he might lose his life. He wanted to run, but in order to prevent Xia Jinyuan from helping him, Yi Qian lifted his leg and kicked Luo Ran in the stomach, causing him to fall to the ground. Luo Ran was already having trouble breathing, and the pain almost made him pass out. "Yi Qian, how dare you King kick me?" Luo Ran, whose face was distorted by the pain, clutched his stomach and looked at Yi Jian ferociously. The fierceness in his eyes was not fearless, but shallow, cute, and stupid. Even at this point, he was still trying to be brave and fierce. If that wasn't stupid, then what was? Just a moment ago, he was so scared that he wanted to run. Now, because Yi Qian kicked him, he wanted to use his power to scare Yi Qian. What a stupid and ridiculous way of thinking. Yi Qian lowered his head and looked down coldly. He looked at Luo Ran like a god sitting high in the clouds, looking down at an ant. "Not only did I dare to kick you, but I also dare to kill you." His voice was cold and chilling. "You dare you? If you dare to do something, why wouldn't I dare to do it?" she said with a smile. Her eyes were as cold as ice on an ancient well. The surface of the ice was bone-chilling, and the depths of the ice were unfathomable. Luo Ran instantly choked and didn't dare to say anything for a long time. Xia Jinyuan glanced at the high school boy on the ground who still wanted to flaunt his power. He said to his little fox, "If we don't deal with this kind of person now, he will be a scourge in society in the future. Dealing with him now will benefit the people. Let me handle it." Yi Qian looked up and glanced at Xia Jinyuan, who wanted to help him deal with the trouble. He smiled and said, "I don't need you to deal with the matters between students. I really want to deal with it for me and get rid of these hooligans. Dead or alive, just don't let me see them again in the future." Her casual tone made Brother Huang and the others understand that they had begged the wrong person. They should have begged this young lady instead. Unfortunately, it was too late. Xia Jinyuan was really angry. How could he let them go? The man's thin lips curled up slightly, and he nodded with a smile. He only said one word, "Okay." He raised his hand, and 4 men with nothing in their hands got off the motorcycle. They walked over to the gangsters who were trembling with fear. Brother Huang, who was kicked in the face and almost lost his life, screamed and begged for mercy. "Third Master, we won't do it again. We won't do it again. Please, Third Master, please let me go. Please. I beg you." His muffled voice was full of fear, and this fear of his life coming to an end infected Luo Ran. This arrogant boy in front of Yi Qian was so scared that his face turned pale. When Yi Qian heard Xia Jinyuan say, "Okay," he smiled and loosened the silver thread in his hand. If he really strangled Luo Ran to death, then it would not be worth it. Yi Jian turned around and stared at Luo Ran condescendingly. In the strong light, Yi Jian's usually gentle face was cold and hard. There was no emotion, only indifference. That kind of indifference made Luo Ran's heart tremble. He saw that she did not care about her own life. He saw that in her eyes, it was as if killing him was just a matter of raising her hand. He also saw that the thing that was strangling his neck was a thin thread that seemed to be made of silver. And this thread was particularly familiar to him. It was the silver item that Yi Jian wore on her left hand. Chapter 831. This was a weapon that could kill people. She casually carried a weapon that could kill people. Luo Ran looked like he had admitted defeat, but his mouth was still stubborn. He met Yi Qian's eyes and said in a trembling voice, "Yi Qian, I'm warning you. My dad is rich. If you're afraid of killing me, my dad won't let you off." Yes. His family was rich. Rich people were the boss. Even the school couldn't do anything about him, let alone Yi Qian. With that thought, Luo Ran's arrogance gradually returned. He tried to stand up and glared at Yi Qian. His voice grew fiercer and fiercer. "Let go of me if you know what's good for you. Otherwise, my dad will teach you a lesson tomorrow. If I can kill you, I naturally have the ability to prevent your dad from finding out that it was me. Luo Ran, you have to realize that your life is now in my hands, not your dad's." Yi Qian spoke calmly with a faint smile on his face. His words carried a hint of killing intent. It easily frightened Luo Ran. His face was full of horror. The silver thread in his hand tightened. Luo Ran, who had just escaped from suffocation, once again experienced death. Through his enlarged eyes, he saw Yi Qian's smile deepen. At the same time, his killing intent deepened. Do you know why beasts like to bite the neck? It's because the neck is the most vulnerable part. Biting off the cervical vertebrae will kill the prey. Biting off the aorta will also kill the prey. Biting off the windpipe will also kill the prey. Luo Ran, who was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat, shook his head violently. He refused to listen to the bloodthirsty voice. "Yi Qian, you can't kill me. I'm a student, and you're a student too. You can't kill me. You can't." "Why can't I? Just now, you said you wanted to kill me. You, who can't kill, said you wanted to kill me. I have the ability to kill and can easily get rid of you. Why can't I kill you? Look around you." The first 7 hooligans who rushed out, Which one of them didn't have a knife in their hand? Take a good look. Where are their hands now? Take a good look and you'll know if I have the ability to kill you or not. Yi Qian grabbed Luo Ran by the collar and dragged him to the front of a few thugs who were lying on the ground and whimpering. He lifted his leg and hooked the right arm of one of the thugs that was clasped behind his back. It was soft, as if it had no bones, and it was hooked out by Yi Qian's leg. The moment he did, Luo Ran saw the strangely twisted right arm. He saw a small knife piercing through the gangster's palm. It went in from the back of his palm and came out from the center of his palm. Blood was still flowing along the tip of the knife. The drops of blood caused Luo Ran to scream in horror. He wanted to retreat, but Yi Qian pressed him to his knees. He looked closely at his palm that had been pierced by the knife. No, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. Let go of me. Let go of me. He wanted to retreat, but Yi Qian wanted him to clearly understand that if he wanted to fight with her, the consequences would be very tragic. He even called the people of the underworld over. If he didn't bleed them and dye them with some color, then it would be a waste of Luo Ran's efforts. 7 people, 14 arms, 2 joints from the elbow to the shoulder. I unloaded one in a straight line and the other in a reverse direction. Then, I stabbed the knife into the right palm where they threatened me with the knife. Before I came out, I brought a small weapon with me. It was convenient to use, so I stabbed it into their left hand. Chapter 832. His voice was very soft, even fainter than the wind, but every word carried a thick stench of blood. Very, very heavy. So heavy that when Luo Ran saw the dart in the gangster's left hand, he was so scared that all the muscles in his body spasmed. A knife in the right hand and a dart in the left. TSK, TSK, TSK. It really hurts, but I don't want to hear them scream in pain, so I stuffed their mouths with their own clothes. The whole process didn't take much time. Yi Qian smiled as she spoke. Her expression was calm, but the words she said were hair-raising, making Luo Ran feel despair. I didn't even need much time to take care of 7 people. Taking care of you, I think. Her gaze fell on Luo Ran's neck, and her smile deepened. It will only take about 2 minutes. Don't you think so? Yes, yes, she wasn't wrong at all. If Yi Qian wanted to kill him now, it would be a piece of cake. At this moment, Luo Ran regretted it so much that his intestines turned green. In the face of life and death, his past arrogance and smugness were nothing. They were just for show. They couldn't protect his life. I was wrong, I was wrong. Yi Qian, let me go. I was wrong. He begged for mercy. His throat was itching to cough, but his survival instinct kept him begging Yi Qian to let him go. Luo Ran, who used to be so arrogant that he didn't even look at the ground, who used money to solve every problem, fell hard this time. He fell so hard that it left him with a lifelong psychological shadow. He begged for mercy so quickly, but Yi Qian wouldn't let him go so easily. She raised her eyebrows slightly. Such a fatal place that needs to be protected is entangled by the treasure in my hand. I'll have to use my strength slowly. First, I'll break your throat, then your aorta, then your cervical vertebra, and then your entire head. Her voice was soft and gentle. As Yi Qian tightened the silver wire in her hand, Luo Ran, who had failed to beg for mercy, screamed, "Help, help, help!" If he could even make a sound, then he would have to use a bit more strength. The silver thread in his hand tightened a little to ensure that he could breathe, but also to make him more afraid. Stop shouting. It's useless. No matter how rich your father is, he can't save your life immediately. By the time he finds out that he needs to save your life, it's a pity that you're already dead. Yi Qian spoke slowly. From his actions and words, he did not show any mercy to Luo Ran. She could easily take Luo Ran's life, but she could not really do it. Right now, Luo Ran was just a student who spoke arrogantly and acted arrogantly. However, he was not the enemy she wanted to deal with. He was just a high school student that she needed to teach a lesson to. She needed to teach him a lesson that he would never forget. From now on, he would be obedient whenever he saw her and just take a detour whenever he saw her. Luo Ran's forelimbs were struggling. Although he could no longer speak, his throat was still letting out muffled and terrified cries for mercy. "Let me go. Help, help." His fluttering hands clung tightly to the dry grass that had withered in autumn. He broke a few strands, but he continued to hold on until he had no more strength. He could no longer hold on to anything. His two black eyes rolled upwards, and he completely fainted from fear. Before he fainted, Luo Ran saw the figures dragging Brother Huang and the others away in the strong light. Every figure was like the king of hell in the hall of hell, making him afraid. Brother Huang and the others, who were being dragged away with one leg, let out screams that made him feel like he was in the hall of hell. Screams filled the air. Chapter 833. Brother Huang and the other hooligans were dragged by Ho Zi and the others. Their backs and heads had been cut by the stones on the ground, and they were screaming in pain. As for Luo Ran, who had fainted, he was naturally picked up by Boss Luo himself. In the end, Yi Qian put away the silver wire. However, the frightened Luo Ran did not know that the reason he could not make a sound was because he was scared and not because he was unable to make a sound because of the silver wire in Yi Qian's hand. Fainting from fear was the result Yi Qian wanted. He wrapped the silver wire back into his arm bit by bit and looked at Luo Ran, who was lying on the ground like a dead fish. He sneered, "How dare you talk about killing people when you have so little courage? I really don't know where you get your confidence from. You can only blame yourself for being so easy to talk to and giving people the wrong impression that you're easy to bully." Xia Jinyuan rubbed his forehead gently when he saw that she had scared a boy unconscious. He said helplessly, "Usually, all you have to do is show a little bit of ruthlessness and you'll definitely be the #1 bully in school." Little Fox had always been an obedient girl in front of her classmates. She was easy to talk to, modest, and polite. This was why she gave people the wrong impression that she was easy to bully. Yi Qian blinked and shook his head. With a serious expression, he said, "That won't do. Special Forces soldiers need to know how to disguise themselves. My public image is that of a high school student. How can I do something that will ruin my own image in school? If he goes back to school and tells everyone about what happened tonight, it will also ruin your image as a good student." As Xia Jinyuan spoke, he waved one hand behind his back and the silent motorcycles all started moving. After the rumbling sound, the barren land returned to darkness and only the two of them existed. As for the unconscious Luo Ran, he pretended that he did not exist. The cool night breeze carried the sounds of the night insect. A minute ago, the scene was filled with murderous intent, but a minute later, it was quiet. As the night breeze blew, it was as if nothing had happened. Yi Qian walked towards the road step by step. His voice was as calm as water as he replied calmly, "No, he won't dare to say it out loud. He definitely won't say anything bad about me in school." "Why?" Xia Jinyuan took a few steps forward and held her hand accurately and naturally. He asked with a smile, "I heard it just now. This boy is still so arrogant even when he's at death's door. Who knows when he'll start to face you in school?" His hand was very warm and dry. When he held her hand, warmth and security came together, causing the corners of her mouth to curl up slightly. "No, he wouldn't dare. He wouldn't dare." He repeated his words and said it with certainty. He was confident and certain. Xia Jinyuan's hand was very soft, as if he could hurt her bones if he used a little more force. He kept holding her hand and smiled faintly. "What do you mean? I think he has guts." "He doesn't have the guts. Trust me, after tonight, he will be completely honest in front of me." Yi Qian returned his grip. His hand was slender and strong, full of strength. I just told him that he was someone who didn't have the ability to kill, yet he went around saying that he wanted to kill. For someone like me who has the ability to kill, killing him would be a piece of cake. That's why he's afraid. He's afraid that I'll really kill him. As for guts, he really doesn't have the guts. A person who doesn't have the ability but is arrogant is usually very timid. A person who has the ability but is arrogant is usually only arrogant when they kill. Chapter 834. He is the former, and I am the latter. If Luo Ran was arrogant because he had no ability, he was naturally timid. If Yi Qian had the ability but was not arrogant, he was naturally daring because he was skilled. It was just that she usually hid it well and would not let others find out that she had the ability to kill. This explanation made Xia Jinyuan laugh. Indeed, people who had the ability to kill, such as himself and his comrades, usually hid their ability to kill and did not want others to find out. Those who kept saying, "I'm going to kill someone, I'm 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 going to kill someone." The little fox who belongs to the latter category seems to be very afraid of me taking action. Okay, your reason has convinced me. Why did she say so much? She just wanted to stop him from taking action. She also wanted to tell him that although the boy was bad, he was not as bad as the hooligans who were sent out to deal with him. Once he was taught a lesson, there was no need for people from the underworld to deal with him. There was another important reason why Yi Qian liked to talk to Xia Jinyuan. She did not need to say too much because he could always understand her. Brother Huang was from the underworld. Fighting, robbing, and bullying students were common occurrences. She would not stop him from letting people from the underworld teach him a lesson. However, Luo Ran was different. He was a high school student from the province. If Xia Jinyuan were to take action, it would not be appropriate. He was a soldier, while Luo Ran was a problematic student. There was a huge gap between their statuses. Regardless of whether Luo Ran was a problematic student or not, as long as Xia Jinyuan took action, if there were any mistakes in the future, it would become a criticism that could not be washed away. It was more appropriate for her, who was also a student, to take action. Moreover, the people who appeared tonight were all Ho Zi's people. She did not trust them. Stopping Xia Jinyuan from taking action was the only thought in her mind at that time. It did not take too long to walk from the wasteland to the main road. A few minutes later, the two of them were standing under the misty streetlights. Yi Qian pointed at the Venus Hotel across the road and said with a smile, "Captain Xia, you can't continue dragging me along. I have to go back to this hotel. Tonight is a senior brother's birthday party. Help me book a room in the Venus Hotel opposite the Caesar Hotel. I have to go there now." Xia Jinyuan raised his eyebrows. "No wonder I couldn't find you at school. Uncle Chen said he didn't see you either. So you came here to play. If you don't mind, can I accompany you?" "I don't mind, but I'm afraid that Captain Xia will mind." Yi Qian's smile had a hint of mockery, and even his gaze had a hint of meaning. "There are dozens of students playing inside. Xia Jinyuan is an adult, so I'm afraid you'll feel awkward if you come over to play with a bunch of students." What a little fox. She used another way to say that he was old and old. Captain Xia, who was not discouraged, straightened his clothes and smiled slightly. He said elegantly and reservedly, "Will my appearance steal the limelight of the host? I think so. After all, I was born with a handsome face that even a little fox would occasionally be entranced by. If I really went with you, I'm afraid the host tonight will be embarrassed." She had her normal social activities. As long as there was no danger, he had no right to interfere. No matter how much he liked her, he still needed to set her free. especially when the little fox in front of him did not like to be restrained and only wanted to fly alone. Chapter 835. That's indeed possible, so all the more reason I can't take you there. Yi Qian raised her hand to let go of their tightly clasped hands. Standing in the dim light, she smiled gently and said, "Can you let go now? I have to go back to the hotel." Xia Jinyuan narrowed his deep eyes slightly. Not only did he not let go, he tightened his grip on her hand, and his thin, sexy lips curved into a faint smile. He chuckled softly and said, "We can't stay together tonight, but I think you won't mind if I walk you to the hotel entrance. This is what a gentleman should do. I can't let a girl walk alone in the middle of the night." Since he said so, there was no way she could refuse. "If I refuse a gentleman's request, it seems very impolite. Then, I'll have to trouble you, Captain Xia." It was difficult for her to refuse him. She didn't know when he returned to the southern province, but he came to look for her at school in the middle of the night. Did he go to school right after he got off the plane? Although the street lights were a little dim, Yi Qian could still see the tiredness between his eyebrows when she looked up. No matter how tired he was, he came to look for her at school. No matter how cold his heart was, a corner of it would melt. Xia Jinyuan was indeed very tired. This was a decapitation operation. After the members of the Snowfield Brigade finished their mission, they didn't even return to the base. After they returned to the country, they immediately scattered and erased all traces of their departure. This was because the target of the decapitation operation had a special status and enjoyed an international reputation. However, his criminal activities had reached China and endangered the stability of China's borders. It was inevitable that China would take action. Xia Jinyuan, who hadn't slept for a few days, walked Yi Qian to the hotel entrance and took the initiative to let go of her hand. "I may not be able to come to you until around 11 o'clock tomorrow morning. I need to get a good night's sleep. Maybe you can come to me and go to the front desk to get my room card." He was too tired. If his brain didn't relax and rest well, his nerves would be in a long-term state of depression, and all his bodily functions would be affected. Although he wanted to be with her, he had to ensure that he had a healthy body first. "Rest well. If you have anything to say, we can talk about it tomorrow." When Yi Qian saw that even his voice was a little hoarse, his heart ached a little. He couldn't even bear to look at him. "See you tomorrow, Captain Xia." Waving at him, Yi Qian walked back to the hotel with big step. The sooner she got back to the hotel, the sooner he could leave and go back to rest. She left in a hurry. Xia Jinyuan's gaze was so gentle that it was as if there were ripples in his eyes. His gaze was so gentle that anyone who could receive his gaze would feel blessed. The hotel lobby was brightly lit. When Xia Jinyuan saw a few people who looked like students appear in the hotel on Yi Qian and walk over, he walked away. He really couldn't play with a group of students. He didn't know how Little Fox got along with them. They seemed to get along very well. Even though they were far away, he didn't see the indistinct loneliness that existed in the outside world. It had been more than 3 years. Little Fox had matured day by day. She was also getting along better with people day by day. This made him feel reassured. Very reassured. He had once told Uncle Chen that Yi Qian had a deep repulsion towards the opposite sex. If this repulsion was brought to the military, it wouldn't be obvious on the surface, but in reality, it would affect her overall performance in the military. Chapter 836. A warrior could not only fight alone, but they also needed to fight in a team. Rejecting the opposite sex would affect the team and make other comrades feel awkward. Over time, Yi Jian would be isolated and helpless, becoming a comrade who did not have good comprehensive abilities. The final result would be the worst. He had the ability, but he had to retire. Now that he saw that she was getting along well with her classmates, he did not have to worry about her not cooperating with the group. The figure outside had already left, and Yi Jian, who was secretly watching, also withdrew her gaze. She smiled at Yang Heng and said, "It's not a big deal. It's just that something urgent came up, so I went out. It's good that you're back. If you came back any later, my dad's people would have gone out to look for you." Yang Heng let out a long sigh of relief. It had only been half an hour since Yi Qian left. Why did he feel like he had been waiting for hours? Wang Jin patted Yang Heng on the shoulder and joked with Yi Qian. "Yang Heng was worried sick when you went out for half an hour. We almost thought that you were kidnapped by human traffickers. We were looking for you all over the hotel. He even said that if we couldn't find you, we would immediately tell his dad so that he could send people out to look for you." After that, he pretended to be shocked and added, "I was scared to death. I just found out that Yang Heng was the director's son. When I saw someone call him Director Yang, I was so scared that my knees went weak." At that time, Wang Jin raised his hand and gently patted Director Yang's abdomen. He smiled and said, "Uncle Yang, look at your good figure. You must be working out regularly." In the end, someone came over and respectfully called him Director Yang. He was scared out of his wits. Yi Qian laughed. "What are you afraid of? Director Yang is Director Yang. Yang Heng is Yang Heng. You don't look for Director Yang often." He then said to Yang Heng, "I'm sorry. I didn't expect to cause you trouble. Don't be so polite. I definitely wouldn't be worried if you went out for a while in school. But I brought you here today, so I have to be responsible for the safety of you girls. No matter who leaves early, I will be worried." Yang Heng glanced at Wang Jin, who was trying to sound flirtatious, and explained to Yi Qian, "I treat everyone equally. Don't misunderstand." Wang Jin laughed out loud when he heard that. He was not the only one who laughed out loud. The other boys who were standing by the side also laughed out loud. "Yang Heng, oh Yang Heng, don't you know that the more you explain, the worse it gets?" As Wang Jin spoke, he wiped a piece of cream off the cake in his hand and suddenly reached out to wipe Yi Qian's face. The change only took half a second. Wang Jin's screams could be heard from the hotel lobby. F***ck, it hurts. My hand is broken, my hand is broken. F***ck. The laughter of the other boys stopped abruptly as if they had been strangled. They stared at Wang Jin's arm that was twisted so much that the back of his hand was twisted backwards. They couldn't help but touch their own arms. Although he didn't twist them, it still hurt a lot. Looking at Yi Qian, who was holding onto his arm, the boys took a small step back. Previously, Yang Heng had said that if a girl went out in the middle of the night, wouldn't it be dangerous if she bumped into hooligans? Yes, it was dangerous. But they guessed that it was the hooligans who were in danger, and not Yi Qian. At this moment, Wang Jin's right hand that was trying to attack Yi Qian with the cream was being twisted backwards. At the same time that his arm was twisted, his acne-covered face was also twisted in pain. Chapter 837. It was really dangerous. Who would have thought that applying cream would be so dangerous? Did Wang Jin's arm get dislocated? Yi Jian withdrew her hand quickly. She immediately withdrew her hand when she realized what was going on. However, Wang Jin still felt the pain. She patted Wang Jin's hand awkwardly and said softly, Sorry, I was a little too nervous and accidentally made a move. It's not dislocated, just a little bit of pain. It'll be fine soon. Why don't you shake your arm? Or move it a little? If it's really dislocated, I'll fix it for you immediately." Wang Jin was shocked. "Junior sister, if it's really dislocated, I'll go to the hospital immediately." Ouch, don't tell me it's really dislocated." Seeing Wang Jin's face contorted in pain, Yi Qian was so embarrassed that even her white jade-like face was flushed red. She had indeed overreacted, mainly because Wang Jin had suddenly attacked her face, and she had subconsciously reacted. This was a subconscious reaction. The hand's reaction was faster than the brain's reaction, and by the time she realized something was wrong, she had already twisted his entire right arm. She had acted so quickly that even someone like Yang Heng, who had some martial arts skills, couldn't react in time, let alone Wang Jin. It's probably not dislocated. I didn't use too much strength, and I loosened it quickly. It's probably not dislocated. Knowing that she was in the wrong, Yi Qian explained in a low voice. It was her fault, so how could she still be confident? Junior sister Yi Qian, what kind of martial arts are you practicing? My arm isn't crippled, is it? Wang Jin, who didn't dare to raise his arm at all, said in pain. His voice was miserable. I was just applying cream on your face, but you acted so quickly and ruthlessly. It hurts, it really hurts. It was obvious that it was very painful, but his emotions were still stable, and he wasn't angry. Seeing that he wasn't angry, Yi Qian sighed in relief. I'm sorry. I learned some self-defense skills, and everyone in class knows that I'm not used to sudden physical contact. It's mainly because I know that sometimes my reflexes can be too fast and accidentally hurt others. Yang Heng knew that she didn't like to have physical contact with people. Her explanation also cleared up the doubts in Yang Heng's heart. No wonder her reaction was a little cold when he wanted to pat her shoulder when they first met at the convenience store. It turned out that there was such a relationship. Women's self-defense? It should be to guard against wolves. I'm so unlucky. I don't have the heart of a wolf, but I'm being treated like a wolf. Wang Jin was indeed not angry. What was there to be angry about? Yi Qian did not do it on purpose. It did not matter if he did not apologize. The boys next to him patted their chests and put their palms together. They said to Wang Jin, who had sacrificed himself for everyone, "Brother, we will thank you. Otherwise, I don't know how many arms will hurt tonight. I can't thank you enough. If your arms really break, we'll feed you for breakfast, lunch, and dinner next week." So close, so close. Wang Jin had risked his life. They were just laughing and talking about how they had to put more cream on Yi Qian when they saw her later. Now there was no need. They didn't dare. Yi Qian's awkwardness dissipated a lot when he joked about the pain. I've learned my lesson tonight. I'll be more careful next time. I definitely won't let you suffer like this again. I'll learn my lesson too. Next time, I'll only talk to you and won't touch you. Wang Jin didn't dare to move his arm. He said to Yang Heng, "Come on, brother, help me lift my arm." Chapter 838. Yang Heng gently touched Wang Jin's arm and carefully held his wrist. He used his eyes to ask Yi Jian if he could lift it up. Seeing Yi Qian nod, he slowly lifted Wang Jin's arm. As he did so, he asked softly, "How is it? Do you feel anything else? Is it painful? Is it bone pain? Or muscle pain? Don't move, don't move. Let me rest, let me rest." Wang Jin felt pain in his shoulder. He moved slightly and smiled. "My shoulder joint is not dislocated and my arm is fine. It's just pain. I think it's a muscle sprain. I've never had a muscle sprain before. Now I know what it feels like. It doesn't feel good, especially. We agreed to fight together, but I ended up fighting alone. You guys are too disloyal." Yao Jing walked out of the banquet hall and happened to hear Wang Jin's words. Her eyes lit up as she looked carefully at the boy who spoke. Seeing him holding his arm in pain and saying, "We agreed to fight together," Yao Jing raised her eyebrows slightly. She immediately scanned the hall and saw that Luo Ran and the others were not there. Only Yang Heng and a few other boys were surrounding Yi Qian. Yao Jing smiled coldly. It seemed that Luo Ran and Yi Qian had indeed fought tonight. Just as she thought about it, her heart skipped a beat and her expression changed. She jogged over and grabbed Yang Heng's arm, asking anxiously, "How are you? Are you hurt?" Yi Qian's gaze suddenly turned cold and landed on Yao Jing's face. She seemed to think that Yang Heng had gone to fight? His clear eyes narrowed slightly, and he immediately took the initiative to speak. Other than Wang Jin, everyone else is fine. Yang Heng's skills are good, so it's impossible for him to be hurt. How do you know he's not hurt? Some injuries are more serious than external injuries. Yao Jing's voice suddenly became extremely sharp. She glanced at Yi Jian with a fierce gaze. Don't act like you know everything all the time. If Yang Heng is hurt, I won't let you off. Wang Jin and the other boys were all confused. Why were they so confused when they heard that? Yang Heng, who could tell that something was wrong, said to Wang Jin and the others who didn't understand at all, "Go back to your room and take a shower first. Remember to come down and sing a song later. The fruit platter and other things are all ready, just waiting for you." Wang Jin helped the boys and said with a smile, "All right, you guys can chat first. We'll go upstairs and take a shower before coming down." "Hey, why are you leaving?" Yao Jing tried to persuade them to stay. She wanted to call Uncle Yang and Auntie Song over. As soon as the boys left, Yi Qian's expression turned cold. He said coldly, "What does it have to do with you whether Yang Heng is hurt or not? It's not like I got hurt because of you. Among them, only Wang Jin's arm is injured. Yao Jing, I advise you to stay out of my business." He wanted to see if it was as he thought. If that was the case, Yao Jing would be another headache for him in school. "Yi Qian, you're so shameless. Do you want to see all the boys get hurt for you so badly? How can you be so shameless? Does it feel good to let the boys stand up for you? You provoked someone you shouldn't have and even pushed Yang Heng out. You're so disgusting." Under Yi Jian's deliberate lead, Yao Jing, who was prejudiced by first impressions, spoke more and more. Naturally, she revealed more and more information. Chapter 839. Yi Jian's eyes turned cold when she heard Yao Jing say, "shameless." She stared at Yao Jing coldly. "You're so filthy that even your thoughts are dirty. Every word you say is not only nonsense, but also stinks. Yao Jing, if you have any sense of shame, you'll be ashamed of your actions." She couldn't tolerate Yi Qian's insults. She had tolerated enough in her previous life. How could she tolerate it again in this life? Being scolded in front of Yang Heng made her so angry that her lungs were about to explode. Just as Yao Jing was about to retort, she saw Yang Heng looking at her coldly from the corner of her eye. It was as if a basin of cold water had been poured over her, drenching her completely. He was angry with her. He was angry with her because of Yi Qian. He was angry with a friend whom he had known since childhood. Yao Jing, whose heart had turned cold, was fuming with rage. "Yang Heng, how could you do this to me? How could you do this to me?" Yang Heng's handsome face was covered in dark clouds. He looked coldly at the girl who had said that she was thinking for him, but had slandered Yi Qian under the guise of caring for him. Not only was there coldness in his eyes, there was also deep disgust. Yao Jing wasn't an honest and upright person. Her behavior alone made him feel even more ashamed. "I'm friends with Yi Qian. Since someone is making things difficult for him, what's wrong with me stepping in?" He didn't know what Yao Jing knew, but judging from what Yi Qian had said, Yao Jing had done something very sinister tonight. As for what it was, he could only slowly tempt her to say it herself. Yao Jing, who had deep feelings for Yang Heng and was exceptionally stubborn, was furious when she heard this. She glared at Yi Qian like a poisoned arrow. "Yi Qian, you're too despicable. You even instigated Yang Heng to stand up for you." "Stand up for what?" The people who spoke were none other than Director Yang and his wife, who were sending their family and friends back to their hotel rooms to rest, and Deputy Director Yao and his wife, who were preparing to go home. Director Yang first looked at Yi Qian. When he spoke, he did not put on any airs of an official. He said cordially, Just now, you had some urgent matters to attend to, so you went out. I told you, you are a child with a sense of propriety. It is impossible for you to go out without a reason. Even if you went out, you must have some matters to attend to and will be back soon. Look, he came back in half an hour. Uncle Yang, Auntie Song, you came at the right time. Yi Qian got into trouble outside, and when I came out, I saw Yang Heng fighting for her. There are also a few boys from their class who play darts. Yao Jing had been worrying about how to inform Chief Yang and his wife, so how could she let go of this opportunity? She quickly reported everything to them. Director Yang was clearly asking Yi Qian, but she beat him to it. Director Yang's expression turned a little cold. Little girl Jing is really much more active than before. She's also more impatient. Old Yao, girls shouldn't be like you. That's why I'm worried. The older she is, the livelier she is. But she said something about Yang Heng fighting for her. I think this girl is anxious. She's afraid that Yang Heng will get hurt. Deputy Director Yao, who was on his daughter's side, spoke even more eloquently. His daughter didn't follow the rules and interrupted others, so he made it sound like his daughter was worried about Yang Heng and was impolite in the heat of the moment. In other words, she wouldn't usually act like this. She would only act impolitely when it came to Yang Heng. Chapter 840. Director Yang, who still had a smile on his face, said coldly, "Come on, Jing, tell me what's going on." "Uncle, I don't know what happened. I only heard that it was because of Yi Qian. They fought for her. I saw that one of the boys' arms was injured. I was afraid that Yang Heng would be injured, so I came to ask." Yao Jing was indeed smart. She didn't insist that Yi Qian asked Yang Heng to fight. When she saw the adults, she always prefaced it with, "I saw it when I came out." This sentence meant, "I saw it, but I don't know." She didn't know, which meant that she wasn't sure. If she was wrong, it was because she only saw it and didn't know. Yi Jian's lips curled into a smile. Yao Jing was such a scheming person. Whenever there was a problem, the first thing she would think of was to push the blame onto others so as to clear her own name. She also loved to talk with two-side. She said one thing at the beginning, but after meeting different people, she said another thing. This kind of person could be said to be tactful, but in fact, she lacked sincerity. She didn't even have the essence of sincerity. So what if she was tactful? Others weren't fools. Couldn't they see it? Mother Yang was more and more displeased with Yao Jing's way of handling things. No matter how much she disliked her, she was still someone else's child. She wouldn't care. At most, she would treat her indifferently. She smiled and walked to Yi Qian's side. She said kindly, "Auntie wants to apologize to you. I said something I shouldn't have said at the banquet. I hope you can forgive Auntie this time. Tomorrow, Auntie will cook a table of good dishes at home and apologize to you." Her daughter's indifference made Mother Yao's eyes flicker slightly. She secretly glared at her husband and walked to Yao Jing's side. She said softly, "What do you want to say? Look at the situation. Is there something wrong with your brain? Go and apologize to Auntie Song." It seemed that Huiying treated Yi Qian differently. The more it was like this, the more she couldn't let her daughter be disrespectful. She only had one precious daughter. As long as she married into the Yang family, who was tolerant and generous and wouldn't mistreat her baby, she could truly be at ease. Therefore, she absolutely could not let Yi Qian stand in her daughter's way. "Auntie, I'm sorry. I was too anxious just now and spoke without thinking. Please don't be angry." Yao Jing's reaction was so fast that she realized that she had made a big mistake. She immediately hugged Mother Yang's arm and acted like a spoiled child. "Auntie Song, can you forgive me? I was really anxious. I was afraid that Yang Heng would get hurt. Mother Yang wouldn't do anything to a child." She smiled and said, "Jing girl, Auntie is talking to Yi Qian. If you interrupt, Yi Qian will also be unhappy." Be good and go home with your parent. It's getting late. Rest early. Hearing this, Yi Qian immediately shot a glance at Yang Heng, who was suspicious of Yao Jing. He wanted him to make Yao Jing stay for the time being. Mom, Yao Jing said that I was fighting for Yi Qian. I haven't asked her how she found out. Even without Yi Qian's signal, Yang Heng would let Yao Jing stay. He hadn't asked clearly, so how could he let her go? Yi Qian also said to Mother Yang, Auntie, I'm not unhappy. We just talked to Yao Jing about something. If it's convenient, you can listen. If it's not convenient, you can go back to your room and rest. I promise that Yang Heng and I won't do anything that will make you worry. Chapter 841. Seeing Yi Qian's calm expression and not afraid of what her daughter had said, Mother Yao's heart sank. Her many years of experience in politics made her have a vague premonition that if she continued, it would be very bad for her daughter. With such a premonition, she made a prompt decision and said, In my opinion, it's not a big deal. Maybe it's just a quarrel between children. Jing, why are you butting into other people's business? Your Auntie Song and Uncle Yang know how to deal with it. Quick, say goodbye to them. We have to go home. Last time at school, the couple couldn't get off the stage. This time, they couldn't let a child do the same in front of Huiying and her husband. Mother Yao was afraid of Yi Qian. Deputy Bureau Chief Yao always listened to his wife on family matters. When he received the hint, he laughed and patted Bureau Chief Yang's shoulder. Boys are much more mischievous than girls. Ask them what happened. Jing won't say anything out of concern for Heng. It's getting late. Let's go home. Deputy Bureau Chief Yao, this matter has something to do with Yao Jing. It has nothing to do with Yang Heng, Yi Qian said calmly, but it made the Yao family's expressions change. Yao Jing stared at Yi Qian with a piercing gaze. What does it have to do with me? You caused Yang Heng to fight and you still have the face to say that? She even knew that she went out to fight. It seemed that Luo Ran didn't appear at the hotel because Luo Ran found out that she was here, but because Yao Jing tipped them off. Although he wasn't afraid of a snake that showed its fangs from time to time, it still affected his mood. Yi Qian narrowed his eyes and said guiltily, How did you know that we went out to fight? Now you know you're guilty? It's too late. You've messed with someone you shouldn't mess with. Don't even think about having a good time in school. How could I not know? That senior brother Wang Jin already said it. Yao Jing sneered. Her gaze towards Yi Qian was filled with disgust. Senior brother Wang Jin said, We clearly agreed to attack together, but in the end, I'm the only one who's going. You guys are too disloyal. Yi Qian, Wang Jin has already said it himself. Are you still trying to deny it? A girl like you actually lured a few boys to help you fight. You have no shame at all. Not only was he rude, he had even lost the most basic morals as a human being. Yi Qian's eyes suddenly turned cold. He looked at Yao Jing and scolded, A girl is slandering another girl for her own selfish desires without any basis. Yao Jing, not only do you have no shame, you don't even have the most basic morals as a human being. She usually had a slight smile on her face and a gentle expression on her face when she interacted with others. But now, her expression suddenly turned cold. The aura she exuded was so strong that even the adults were stunned. Her originally gentle and beautiful face instantly turned extremely cold. No one dared to look her in the eye. Yi Qian had been on the battlefield with a gun, carried out countless missions, and eliminated countless enemies. The aura he exuded was not something that a flower in a greenhouse like Yao Jing could compare to. She was immediately scolded by Yi Qian. She took a few steps back and fell into her father's arms. Deputy Bureau Chief Yao, who had been stunned by his daughter's bump, came back to his senses. When he thought of the army behind Yi Qian, he swallowed back the words he wanted to say. After a while, he sneered and said, You're so sharp-tongued to bully a schoolmate. I think you're just SOSO. Jing Jing, let's go. Chapter 842. Deputy Bureau Chief Yao, your daughter tipped off a boy from our school who has been hanging out with gangsters all year round. She got him to bring a bunch of gangsters to the hotel to cause trouble for me. Yi Qian's words had just started when the couple's faces changed. Without waiting for Mother Yao to step forward to stop him, Yi Qian's voice was as cold as a blizzard. Every word he said was heavy and cold. Deputy Bureau Chief Yao, you and your wife promised in the principal's office that you would discipline your daughter and not make things difficult for me, much less do anything against me. It hasn't even been a month since the promise was made and you've forgotten it completely. You didn't even restrain your daughter's words and actions. At that time, Deputy Bureau Chief Yao said that if Yao Jing were to cause trouble for me again, you would take the initiative to transfer her to another school. Now, I'd like to ask, can a dignified government official's promise be confirmed one by one and live up to it? His stern voice and imposing manner were majestic, like the raging waves on the surface of the sea beating against the shore. It agitated the Yao family to the point that their complexions turned from deathly white to miserable cold, and even more so, they couldn't conceal their monstrous rage. Mother Yao, who wanted to hide her daughter's actions from the Yang family, asked sharply, Yi Qian, don't think that just because you're the daughter of a martyr, you can humiliate my daughter 3 times. Even if you want to, I won't let you off so easily. Her daughter had been at a disadvantage in front of Yi Qian and had even been exposed by Yi Qian. How could Mother Yao hold herself back? She shielded her daughter behind her and yelled even louder, Jing Jing, stand still for mommy. I've taught you since you were young that you can admit defeat, but you can't lower your head. If you're bullied, then you have to bully back. Very good. Since you don't want to deal with the aftermath, then I'll have to file a report to the police. You want to pretend that you didn't scheme against me? Yao Jing, I'd like to see if you're smarter than the police. Facing Mother Yao, Yi Qian's expression didn't show any signs of fear. Every word he said made the hearts of those listening tremble. Call the police. What exactly happened? Why did they need to call the police? Bureau Chief Yang realized that this matter wasn't a small one, so he said in a deep voice, Go to the tea room and explain what's going on. If it really escalates to the point of calling the police, old Yao, you're going to be tested soon. Don't embarrass yourself. Yi Qian's words made the Yao family tremble in fear. Then, Chief Yang's words made the Yao family calm down. The domineering mother glared fiercely at Yi Qian and said stiffly, Old Yang, no matter how big the child's matter gets, it won't go to the police. Don't be scared by her. How could the director of the Transportation Bureau be intimidated by a little girl? Director Yang smiled and shook his head. Old Yao and his wife had been promoted quickly in the past few years. They were a little arrogant and lacked a peaceful heart. They began to use their power to oppress others when things were not going well. If this continued, they would regret it for the rest of their lives. Old Yang is right. Let's sit down and talk. I like Yi Qian very much. He has a sense of propriety. I believe that he won't speak without evidence. Mother Yang didn't like adults being aggressive to children. When she saw Yi Qian standing alone facing the Yao couple, she sighed in her heart. She gently held Yi Qian's hand and patted it. She solemnly said, Don't be afraid. Anything can be solved. As long as you have evidence, no matter how difficult it is, it won't be a problem. Chapter 843. Yi Qian, who was not afraid, pursed his lips and smiled. Auntie, I'm not afraid. I won't be afraid of things that I'm sure of. If I'm not sure of something, I won't use the excuse of, I only saw it, I don't know to slander others and clear my name. When Yao Jing heard the word, call the police, she couldn't help but tighten her grip on Deputy Commissioner Yao's arm. Her lips trembled slightly, but her voice was still steady. "Dad, we can't let her call the police. Let Mom calm down and not blow this matter up. I know you and Mom don't want me to be wronged, but I've implicated you and Mom in this matter." She was just a child, a tactful student. She was usually not afraid of trouble, but when trouble came, how could she not be afraid? Although Yao Jing was afraid, she wouldn't hide behind her parents because of fear. Calling the police was the last thing she wanted to see. It was also the thing she was most afraid of. Once the police were called, with Luo Ran's cowardice, he would definitely tell the police everything she had said and suggested to clear her name. Even if Luo Ran wouldn't, his parents would find a way to make him say it. Hearing his daughter's words, Deputy Commissioner Yao's heart felt as if a huge rock had smashed into his chest. He couldn't help but close his eyes slightly. "You're too impatient, Jing Jing. Too impatient, too narrow-minded, too impatient for success." Yao Jing pursed her lips, her eyes filled with tears. "Dad, I didn't expect her to be so ruthless. She didn't give anyone a way out. I didn't expect it, I really didn't expect it." She really didn't expect Yi Qian to mention calling the police. She also didn't expect Uncle Yang and his family to stand by Yi Qian. Taking a deep breath, Yao Jing gently tugged at her mother. "Mom, don't say anything. Let me handle this. This matter is between Yi Qian and me. I can't let you be implicated. This is my own matter." Jing Jing. Mother Yao, who was originally full of confidence, suddenly heard her daughter's words. Her heart sank and tightened. "What are you hiding from us? It's the matter between Yi Qian and me that's hidden from you and Dad. Please calm down." After Yao Jing finished speaking, Mother Yao's heart ached and felt waves of bitterness. Her daughter was actually a sensible person. Unfortunately, her opponent was Yi Qian, a strong opponent. She didn't have the ability to deal with him. She didn't have the ability to defeat him. "Why did I know that you sent Yonghengs? Because I know that you and Luo Ran had a duel at the back alley behind the bar street." Yao Jing stood up and stood in front of Yi Jian. She straightened her back and said coldly, "Because I know. That's why I guessed that Yang Heng and the others went out to fight." Yi Jian smiled. "No wonder. No wonder I was wondering why I saw Luo Ran appear in the hotel with more than 10 hooligans as soon as I walked out of the banquet hall. I didn't even have to rush over. It turns out that you were the one who tipped me off. I was wondering why you avoided me every time you saw me in school. It turns out that you were afraid that I would suspect you. What a pity, Yao Jing. You're so smart, but you still miscalculated. Yi Qian, don't try to quibble here. You dragged a group of boys out to fight. How shameless are you? Was last Jing going to insist that Heng Heng went out to fight in a gang fight? She was going to insist that Yi Qian provoked some shady people and even dragged Heng Heng into it as well? Chapter 844. Mother Yang's originally calm expression turned cold. Even her voice was filled with displeasure. Jing girl, you really have no evidence to back up your words. When you made a mistake in junior high school, I thought you were young and ignorant. Who would have thought that you're still in your second year of high school? Shu He, you know that I don't like adults interfering with children's matters. A few years ago, in order to let Jing girl study in peace, you pulled some strings to get the girl who hosted the program with Heng Heng kicked out of school. I didn't say anything, but that doesn't mean I didn't know. Shu He, Mother Yao's name. They're both students, but you clearly know that there are bad people in society who came to bully your students. Not only did you not tell the adults, but you were also afraid that they wouldn't spread the news. Jing girl, Auntie doesn't understand what intentions you have. You're actually this ruthless. It seems that fortunately, I came forward and sent that girl to the capital to study. If she were to study in the provincial capital, with Jing girl's ruthlessness, she would have killed her. When she was really angry, the words she said weren't so pleasant to hear. Huiying! Mother Yao screamed. She couldn't believe that her old neighbor would say such things about her daughter. When the junior high school incident was mentioned, the Yao family of 3 was shocked. Now that they heard Mother Yang say ruthless, the one who couldn't accept it the most was Yao Jing. She originally maintained a proud expression, but now her whole body was shaking a few times. Auntie Song, who liked her, actually said that she was ruthless. She even knew about the junior high school incident. How could it be? How did Auntie Song know? What about Yang Heng? Yang Heng? Yao Jing's pupils suddenly shrank. She looked up and stared at Yang Heng. She wanted to see a clue from his face, but she didn't dare to hear him say anything that would embarrass her even more. She just stared at him. Mother Yang had already moved her gaze away from Mother Yao. She had been holding Yi Qian's hand. From her behavior, it could be seen that she was standing on Yi Qian's side. Her behavior made Mother Yao's mouth burst with bitterness. It was as if she had eaten Chinese gold thread, but she couldn't say anything. Looking at Mother Yang, then looking at the indifferent bureau chief Yang, and finally seeing Yang Heng, Mother Yao's eyes flashed with splendor. That's right, as long as Yang Heng was with Jing Jing, everything would be fine. Heng Heng, you grew up with Jing Jing. She's a soft-hearted child who cries when she sees others cry. You tell me quickly. Don't let your mother misunderstand Jing Jing. As long as Heng Heng showed up, no matter how deep Huiying's misunderstanding of Jing Jing was, it would definitely be resolved. For a moment, Mother Yao placed all her hopes on Yang Heng. However, only when Yang Heng opened his mouth did he know what a blow was. Yao Jing, Wang Jin and I have been looking for Yi Qian in the hotel. We don't even know where she went. Yang Heng spoke coldly under Mother Yao's hopeful gaze. His clean and handsome face made Yao Jing extremely flustered. At that time, I didn't understand why you came over to blame Yi Qian. Now I know. You came to the hotel to block Yi Qian. After seeing that Wang Jin was injured, you tried to turn Yi Qian into a bad girl who only knows how to coax boys to stand up for her. I can tell you seriously and responsibly that we didn't even know what Yi Qian was doing outside. Luo Ran brought people to the hotel, and we didn't know at all. If I had known, I would have taught Luo Ran a lesson myself. I definitely wouldn't have chosen to stand by and watch. As for your actions, I only want to say, Yao Jing, you are despicable. Chapter 845. She had hoped that Yang Heng would put in a few good words for her daughter, but in the end, he actually called Jing Jing despicable. Mother Yao's expression was torn apart. Her eyes were cold as she stared at Yang Heng. Word by word, she said coldly, Heng Heng, you disappoint Auntie. Shu He, this is my son. Mother Yang would not allow anyone to bully her son like this. She glanced at the old neighbor who was still worried about her daughter. The disappointment in her heart was so deep that Mother Yang's face showed alienation. After Yang Heng finished speaking, Yao Jing felt as if she had been struck by lightning. Yang Heng said she was despicable. In order to protect Yi Qian, he heard her like this? Her face was pale as she stared blankly at Yang Heng. She didn't hear anything. She didn't hear anything. Yang Heng wouldn't say that about her. He wouldn't say that about an outsider. Why would he say that about her for an outsider? Who does Yi Qian think he is? She had only known Yang Heng for less than 2 months. She had grown up with him and had known him for more than 10 years. Yao Jing clenched her fists as she stood beside her mother. Her mind was blank. The more she tried to calm herself down, the more she couldn't control her urge to cry. She didn't understand. She really didn't understand why Yang Heng would help Yi Qian. Why, Yang Heng, why are you doing this? Tears fell from her eyes. She had never shown weakness in front of others, but now she was crying because of the boy she liked. Moreover, she was crying in front of Yi Qian. Yi Qian, what bad things did Yi Qian say to Yang Heng to make him hate her so much? Was it because she secretly warned the students who tried to get close to Yang Heng? Was it because she had once begged her parents to kick out the girl who practiced her lines with Yang Heng every day and chased Yang Heng out of school? Why didn't he say it before? Why didn't he stand up and say that he hated her? If you don't like it, why didn't you say it? Since you don't like it, why didn't you tell me yourself? At this time, Yao Jing only wanted to ask Yang Heng why, but Yi Qian put it aside. Everything she did was for Yang Heng. Now that he said that, she was not reconciled. Not reconciled. Mother Yao saw that her daughter's attention was on Yang Heng, but Yang Heng was helping Yi Qian to bully her daughter. She glared at Yi Qian anxiously and angrily. Yi Qian, what did you say about Yao Jing to Heng Heng? You're just a girl, but you're actually so vicious. For your own despicable motives, you didn't hesitate to abandon the most basic morals of a human to frame Yao Jing. Tell me now, Jingjing's father and I are listening. What do you want to achieve? What do you want? Tell us. As long as we can satisfy you, we will satisfy you. I only ask that you be magnanimous and let my Jingjing go. I will be forever grateful to you. Mother Yao's words were a disaster. She wanted to put all the blame on Yi Qian, but she had seen Yi Qian's ability to deal with every move, so she spoke quickly and hurriedly. She wanted Director Yang and Mother Yang to hear her words and stop Yang Heng from standing up to criticize Yao Jing. What she wanted now was for someone to stop Yang Heng and stop him from saying things that her daughter couldn't accept. Her daughter had already been wronged by Yi Qian, so how could she bear Yang Heng's criticism? Chapter 846. She didn't want her daughter to be wronged and Yi Qian to be accused of something he didn't do. Yi Qian's eyes darkened as he stared at the heartless Mother Yao. His tone was flat as he said, "Vicious people always judge others by their own standards. They always think that others will do the same bad things as them and live in fear. Once something really happens, they will immediately jump out and righteously accuse them of being the vicious ones." Facing Mother Yao's accusation, Yi Qian's expression was indifferent, as if he was looking at an unreasonable scoundrel. He didn't care much about it, but he didn't let it go either. Although his tone was light, his words were sharp enough to make Mother Yao's heart wrench in pain. You. Mother Yao's heart wrenched in pain for a long time. Her face was ashen as Mother Yang frowned. She finally said, "Even an adult like me can't win against you. No wonder my daughter has suffered losses in your hands so many times. Deceitful and unreasonable." Mother Yang was highly educated and a very gentle intellectual. When she heard this, she flew into a rage. "Shu He, Yi Qian is clearly being polite, but you are being aggressive for Jing. You said that Yi Qian is vicious, but I want to ask, what is it that you joined forces with a bunch of hoodlums and came to the hotel to beat up Yi Qian? Can I say that I'm as vicious as a snake or a scorpion? Everyone has the right to punish me." Bureau Chief Yang had always respected his wife. Seeing her so angry that her shoulders were trembling, he said to Deputy Bureau Chief Yao with a serious face, "Old Yao, I've seen once again how protective your family is. You've really broadened my horizons to such an extent, using other people's children's dignity in exchange for your own children's laughter. Old Yao, your family really has a good upbringing." It was originally a matter between Yi Qian and Yao Jing. Unknowingly, it became a matter between Yi Qian, Yao Jing, and Yang Heng. Then, with the addition of Deputy Bureau Chief Yao and his wife, who were eager to protect their children, the whole matter escalated. Yang Heng had been sneering for a long time when he heard Mother Yao distort right and wrong and accuse Yi Qian of being vicious. When Bureau Chief Yang finished speaking, his voice became colder and deeper. During the military training, Yao Jing instigated Luo Ran to catch poisonous snakes from the mountains and threw them on Yi Qian. She said that since there were many snakes in the mountains, Yi Qian wouldn't suspect Luo Ran even if he bit them to death. On the second day of the military training, one of the instructors caught a snake. Yi Qian happened to be resting with the instructors, so he took care of the snake in the instructor's hands. There were witnesses who saw this and knew that Yao Jing's plan to make Luo Ran catch a snake and bite Yi Qian to death didn't work. Then, Yao Jing found Luo Ran during our lunch break and asked him to teach Yi Qian a lesson. Who knew that after the first plan failed, the second plan failed again. Luo Ran was suspected of causing trouble during the military training and was directly asked to return to school by the army. I think that when Yao Jing found out that Luo Ran didn't succeed again, she must have been very angry. After all, she was the one who came up with the plan in the dark. It was clearly something that could have worked, but in the end, it didn't. Yang Heng never caused trouble outside of school, but he never caused trouble at home. The school was enough to prove his ability to handle things. At this moment, with every word he said, Yao Jing's face turned paler. Even her lips were gradually turning pale. How could it be? How did Yang Heng know? How did he know? That's right, Yang Heng knew everything? Yi Qian was looking at him. These things, she didn't know, so how did he know? Chapter 847. How do you know about this? Yi Qian, what did you say to Yang Heng? What did you say? Yi Qian and Yao Jing asked at the same time. It was such a coincidence that when Yao Jing heard Yi Qian ask the same question, she leaned into her mother's arms. She was a smart person. How could a smart person not know what kind of negative impact this coincidence would have on her? Yi Qian didn't know, which meant that she didn't know what Yao Jing did. Naturally, she wouldn't say bad things about her to Yang Heng. However, Yao Jing said, Yi Qian, what did you say to Yang Heng? While questioning Yi Qian, she also admitted to all the bad things she did. However, she also questioned why Yi Qian told Yang Heng about all the bad things she did. In the end, Yi Qian didn't even know what bad things Yao Jing did. Facing Yao Jing's accusations, Mother Yang could clearly see how vicious Yao Jing was. Not only did she not admit to her mistakes, but she also turned around to bite others. Mother Yang's evaluation of her was that she was as vicious as a snake. An unexpected coincidence made the faces of the Yao family's 3 members change greatly. It also made them even more flustered because of the presence of Bureau Chief Yang and Mother Yang. Hearing this, Deputy Director Yao, who had always been calm, frowned. He stared at his daughter and asked calmly, in other words, what Heng Heng said is true. You did do these things, right? Seeing her daughter's face full of fear and helplessness, Mother Yao, who also wanted to question whether it was true or not, suddenly softened. She secretly glared at her husband. Whether Jing Jing did it or not, how could she let her daughter admit it again? Wouldn't it make the Yang family feel disgusted with Jing Jing again? Huying didn't like girls who did things secretly. She turned to Yang Heng and said, Heng Heng Jing is just naughty. She's usually really. She wanted to continue saying that her daughter was wrong because she was naughty and immature. She wasn't usually like this. Before she could finish, Mother Yao heard Yi Qian chuckle softly. She immediately glared at Yi Qian and reprimanded him coldly. Yi Qian, didn't anyone teach you not to interrupt people rudely? I'm sorry. Everyone taught me to be sincere, to have a pure heart, to be magnanimous at all times, and to do things with integrity. No one taught me that I can use mischievous and insensible as an excuse to avoid my mistake. Yi Qian said calmly. He was not worried that he would be scolded by Mother Yao for no reason. He looked at Deputy Bureau Chief Yao with a cold smile. Deputy Bureau Chief Yao, I'm worried for you. Yao Jing is already 17 years old, but you're always treating her like a 3-year-old retarded child. I just didn't fall into Yao Jing's trap, and your wife said that I'm vicious. It can be seen that Deputy Bureau Chief Yao's way of educating his children is unique. No wonder Deputy Bureau Chief Yao was able to rise in his career. Just by relying on this unconventional way of education, it can be seen. Mother Yang, who was originally angry, couldn't help but smile. This Xiao Yi was indeed interesting. He hid a needle in the silk floss, and every needle pierced into the Yao family's heart. He wanted to let them know that they were not easy to bully. Deputy Bureau Chief Yao, who was embarrassed by Bureau Chief Yang and Yi Qian's words, could only sigh. If he participated in this matter again, the Yao family's face would be lost. Chapter 848. A dignified deputy bureau chief bickering with a student in the hotel lobby. If word of this spread to his unit, how would he have the face to control his subordinates? Mother Yao's hand clutched her chest. Pain, her heart was in so much pain right now. This Yi Qian was so eloquent that she, a dignified office director, couldn't do anything to him. Yao Jing saw that her parents were forced into silence. She fiercely wiped the tears from her eyes and said firmly, "I'll take responsibility for my own actions. I admit to what I did. Don't make things difficult for my parents." "I made things difficult for your parents?" Yi Jian looked as if she had just heard the biggest joke in the world. Her cold gaze swept over them. "Why don't we invite Director Yang, Auntie Song, and the staff who are still in the hotel lobby to testify and ask everyone if I was the one who made things difficult for your parent?" Yao Jing immediately raised her eyes and looked around. After looking around, she retracted her gaze in panic. Someone was secretly looking at them, someone was looking at her family. No, she couldn't talk here. She had to find another place where others couldn't see her. How could she let others think that her family was bullying Yi Qian? It was clearly Yi Qian who was bullying her. Yang Heng. Yao Jing held back her tears and looked at Yang Heng pitifully. She didn't dare to beg Bureau Chief Yang and his wife anymore. Ever since Yang Heng revealed what she had done, she didn't dare to. She didn't even dare to look at Yang Heng's mother. Yang Heng's heart didn't waver at all when he saw her tears and her pitiful expression. He glanced at her face and turned to the embarrassed and angry mother. "Auntie, you just said that Yi Qian humiliated Yao Jing and accused Yi Qian of being vicious for no reason. As a junior, I can't say that you don't know how to distinguish right from wrong, but there are some words that I have to say regardless of whether you are happy or angry. In your eyes, you only see Yao Jing's grievance. You don't know that the reason why she was wronged was because Yi Qian didn't jump into her trap. So, she felt wronged and failed. She felt that she couldn't even deal with a classmate who had no parent. She felt wronged, angry, and unhappy. You and Uncle Yao, on the other hand, think that it's someone else's fault that your daughter was wronged, angry, and unhappy." She instigated a boy to throw a poisonous snake at Yi Qian. Do you think this is kindness or evil? Letting a boy hit Yi Qian on the road, do you think this is kind or evil? Calling the hooligans of society to surround Yi Qian in the hotel, do you think this is kind or vicious? Yi Qian didn't do anything. He didn't even know what Yao Jing was doing in the dark, yet you're saying that she's vicious. Then, let me ask you, Yao Jing has done so many things, is her heart evil? Or kindness? Mother Yao, who was blushing from Yang Heng's words, was speechless for a long time. She clutched her chest and took deep breath. This child really did not let go of her mistakes. After a long sigh, Mother Yao said earnestly, Heng, Jing is still young and doesn't know anything. As a parent, I can't bear for her to be wronged. Auntie believes that your parents are the same. So that's what Auntie thinks. You can't let your own child be wronged. It doesn't matter if someone else's child is wronged to the point that they have to transfer to another school. In any case, it's not your child, so you don't feel bad. After Yang Heng said so much, even Yi Qian retreated to the side. She wanted to say something, but Mother Yang pulled her and smiled. Let Yang Heng come forward. He knows how to deal with it. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.